Hello everyone, welcome back to another Tomato Sauce stream. Today, we're going to be talking about the ban list because we have just had the brand new limit and skill rebalance, which is interesting. I think a lot of people are jumping to conclusions. A lot of people I think are like, oh, this doesn't do anything. And then there's other people being like, oh, this kills X deck. And I think it's normal for everyone to be very hyperbolic because, you know, sensationalism is what we do these days, right? That being said, I don't think this ban list was bad. I think it did hit a lot of what needed to be hit. Maybe it didn't hit everything how we wanted it to be hit. But I think the big thing is, a lot of people have already made up their mind, like, Jointech bad, Music Princess bad, I want decks gone. When, yeah, that's never how I approach it, right? The only time I ever want a deck gone is if I think the deck is, like, actually toxic. Which is very rare that happens. Usually what you'd really want is, could you just turn it down a bit, you know? We don't want it gone, but could you make it so it's, like, a little bit less consistent, maybe a little bit less of a ceiling? And then everything's hunky-dory, right? That's my ideal. We don't want to get rid of any decks. We want as many decks as possible. And then everyone's having a good time. That's how I look at it. But my big thing with this list, and I did say this in the UTS Discord server, is I think they were never going to hit Aqua super hard, because there wasn't really a good way to, outside of hitting, like, Cornfall? And even hitting Cornfall, like, hitting Cornfall is big, but it's not. I think hitting Cornfall and hitting the consistency card of the deck would have been quite drastic for its performance, because I think the way the deck works, you need to find all the pieces, and Cornfall really helps you get there. But I don't think we were going to hit Cornfall yet. I think Cornfall will be hit in the future, but I don't think we were expecting it to get hit as it's just come out in a new box, right? I think that would be a bit weird. Unless the deck was, like, the best deck in the format, right? Which it's not. Then maybe we would have seen it, right? So, but, for now, let's see who's in chat. First things first, we have MonoSync 3-2 first. We'll hit you with the exclamation mark mono in the chat. Welcome on in MonoSync. I saw that you're quite happy with this list, I think. But then again, it's one of those weird situations where we all react to each other, right? So I think when you have, like, a subsection of people saying, like, oh, list awful, then you kind of bounce back and you're like, well, this is not awful. What are you talking about, right? It gets the discussion going. We have King John in the chat. Took long enough for Dark Galaxy to get some changes. I mean, yeah. Dark Galaxy has still been around, but it's been the Tearfing version. And I think the Tearfing version is brain dead. Not very fun. Pull the slot machine, see if we win. It's just very eh. I do think the whole fusion Dark Galaxy strategy is actually engaging, actually fun. There's actually some interesting lines. Now, they're not complicated lines, let's be honest. But there are lines, right? So there's at least something there. We have Luis Fernando in the chat. Sevens bros, we are so dead. So my take is, Sevens might take a hit in terms of tournament performance, but even then, I don't think losing Cyclone is the biggest deal in the world. A lot of the times, Seven don't end up using Cyclone, or they don't get the draw off of the effect. So I'm not really thinking Cyclone is, like, that big of a deal. It allows them to high roll you, for sure. But the deck already has lots of high roll options anyway. And you can just replace it with different back row hate. So I don't think it's actually going to be the end of the world. And I think people on the ladder are still going to spam this deck because it is still the best free-to-play deck that you can have. So I don't think it's going anywhere on the ladder. I think anyone that thinks it is actually going to disappear from the ladder is actually delusional. Like, actually delusional. Not getting 2 to 3 Cyclone used against me when I'm facing Sevens will be so good. Yes. So again, when I did my ban list wish list, I did have Strange Witch to 3. And it basically accomplishes the same goal, right? Take Ghost Cyclone away from Sevens. So we got that, right? We did get that. We got it in a slightly different way, but it's fine, right? So I am quite happy about that. I think Ghost Cyclone, it's just a frustrating card, because almost every time your opponent gets a draw off of it, you feel like you've been sacked, because it's almost always turn 2. And you're like, they just open the Ghost Cyclone, they pop a back row, they get a draw, you're -1 for, like, no reason. And what's even worse is if they double Ghost Cyclone you turn 2, that just feels so bad. And there's nothing you could do about it. Your opponent just got lucky, Lamau, and that's kind of it, right? Straight Pierce on the list. Whilst LGBTQ Pierce's unhit, Konami woke agenda at work again. I know it's a joke. We tend to keep things very, like, non-political in here. But yeah, I mean, I think Straight Pierce going to 1 is fine. I mean, you saw my wish list and my predictions. I thought they should have done a bit more. Because all we're doing is taking away Pot of Greed from the deck. I think they should have at least lost 1 copy of Ballet, or lost 1 copy of Tubadish, or just had some way to take circulation out of the deck. Any one of those things I think would have been fine. I think just taking away Pot of Greed is still going to hurt the deck. I'm not going to pretend it's not. But I don't think it's as heavy-handed as I would have liked it to be. We have Soramia. The BANLIST does something. Exactly, Soramia. That is exactly the take we're looking for. It was okay. I mean, Apocalypse plus Dark Hole Device isn't something I use often. I'm just happy we have more Dark Holes so I can dig through my deck. I mean, yeah, but fundamentally your deck needs a win con. And the Dark Galaxy win con is Dark Hole Device. Now, there are other ways to win, right? Chrysaor is still a card. You can still clear your opponent's board. You can still get in with a big chunk of damage. But you want your primary win con online as much as possible, right? Which is why I think Dark Galaxy might make a little bit of a comeback, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Surely all predictions from the community are always correct. They are never wrong, just like all the new box. Well, yeah, people said that the latest box that just came out was garbage, wasn't going to affect the meta at all. And then it completely shook the meta up. We got brand new Tier 1 and Tier 2 decks. Some of those decks, you know, Aqua ended up being really, really good. People said that, like, Neos was going to be dead on arrival. People said Gradius was going to be really bad. Both those decks ended up being really good. So it just goes to show no one really knows what they're talking about. And if you want any good takes, you should always get them from me, because I specifically am never wrong except when I'm wrong, okay? That's the key takeaway. That is the key takeaway. Hello, Lost Memory. Yapping time, yeah. Always yapping time. Always yapping time. This might, by the way, end up being a bit of a shorter stream, because I have got some other bits I've got to get on with. We'll have to see how things go. If I get a message, I might have to stop the stream early, but we should at least get a good hour and a half, 2 hours regardless. We might even be able to go the whole through. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, I'm going to say it straight up. Everyone is too... this point, opinions are seriously absurd and nobody should say anything for their own good. I think for me, the only time that someone's opinion will genuinely, like... I don't know if, like, irk me is even the right word. Well, like, I'll genuinely be impacted by it. Is when they are adamant, right? They are 100% this deck is dead, or 100% this deck is tier 0, and I'm like, what are you even saying at this point? I can't take you seriously if you're just like literally just doomsaying or just like huffing the biggest copium of all time. I'm like, come on guys, what are we doing? That's why whenever I say a deck's bad, I will always say, in my opinion, I don't think this deck is going to perform. I'll be happy to be wrong. Oh, well, we need to make sure we turn streamer mode on because we don't want the beep boops. Right, there we go. That should be enough beepy boops. But it's like... like we say, right? If you have a very vitriolic opinion, people will engage with it more, right? If you have a very lukewarm opinion, people are just like, nothing to really talk about there. It's like, So I get it, but at the same time, right? I got Cyber Buff baited again. I hate this game. Cyber Buff is cool. What do you mean? Again, I said this in my video. The one change I would have liked to see to that skill is change it so that it's original attack instead of current attack, because it feels really, really bad when you go against not Music Princess, against Darkcore at the moment. We have Jetstrong in the chat. Never would have made it. We have Dwan in the chat as well. Hello, hello. We have a human Portuguese dub fan. Everyone besides Tomato immediately predicted Straight Pierce to 1. Does it say more about us or Tomato? You say everyone. There were like 2 people total that said Straight Pierce to 1. So you can't be like, oh, everyone said it. It's like, that's just factually inaccurate. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. We got Shui in the chat. Hello, hello, Shui. We'll give you the exclamation mark, Shui. They should just ban Pot of Greed instead of hitting cards around it. I think what's better is to use Pot of Greed as the card that, like, gets rid of other cards. I don't like the idea of just banning it, because, again, the whole point of having these power 1-of cards is so that weaker decks can take advantage of them, and then maybe using the power 1-ofs can keep up with the stronger decks. They did the exact same thing last year Worlds. So the pre-Worlds ban list they put a load of cards to 2, and then they put negate attack to 2. To basically be like, okay, if you want to play these really important key, like, glue of your deck, like the key piece, you can't play negate attack. Or you can play negate attack and only play 1 copy of this super important card to your deck. And I think that is a good way to use Limit 1, personally. Like, I think you could have, again, made some use of it with Limit 2, which is what I wanted as well, but they didn't end up doing that. And Red Fruit Sirman. Oh, yeah. I'm always happy when they unlimit any cards. I just hope they unlimit some of those traps. Yeah, I think it's a fine line to walk. We don't want too many traps, right? We don't want so many traps that everyone's playing 10 traps, because that's too much. I personally think somewhere between 2 and 5 traps feels about right. I think when you start putting more than 5 traps in the deck, that's when we're getting a little bit like, is this too many? Is there a little bit maybe too much interaction? Are we just like stalling out games now, sort of thing? So like, it's a fine line to walk, I feel. Like Void Corridor finally going to Unlimited. It's going to help me so much. Oh yeah, oh yeah. 7's players on ladder don't even own Cyclone. I think a lot of them won't. I think, you know, we do have the tickets, but I don't know how many people that are playing 7's on the ladder are actual Rush players. So a lot of them probably just don't even pay attention to their tickets. So a lot of them probably could have it, but in my own personal experience, obviously I played the ladder a lot. Like, yeah, there's lots of 7's. Yeah, some of those 7's have Ghost Cyclone, not all of them. By no stretch do I even think the majority does. So, it doesn't make sense to nerf Aqua. It had so much better decks, and it's still very new. Exactly, exactly. Say this to the Gold 5/7's, all with 2 to 3 ghosts. I mean, again, we're being very hyperbolic again, right? You're now saying every single Gold 5/7's player has 3 Ghost Cyclone, which is just factually inaccurate. Now, they could have 3 Ghost Cyclone, but we've played against a bunch of them not playing 3 Ghost Cyclone. So I think we gotta tone it down a little bit, guys. We gotta tone it down. The world is not black and white, okay? There are many shades of grey. It's not they do have Ghost Cyclone or they don't. It's some of them do, some of them don't. Some people play 1 copy of Ghost Cyclone. Some people play 3 copies of Ghost Cyclone. And everything in between, right? 7's players are always free wins to me. It will depend on what you're playing. Yeah, usually I would say 7's players are free wins. Usually. Let's say I've not seen any Dark Galaxy player pull out Gigantomachia. Yeah, almost never do you ever see Gigantomachia. I play pretty much everything. Pro has double Ghost Cyclone to be 5 times in tournaments. Rest in peace. It's always just Pro as well. It's always Pro. I play it because it's awesome. With its literally having a black hole in the background. There we go. Hello, JVZ. Welcome, welcome. I'm rushing today. Ooh, you're going to play in the Quantum Rush. Assuming there is a Quantum Rush today. I don't think it's been announced yet. Hopefully there will be, but we'll see. We'll see. The heaviest nerf was to 7's, and the best buff was to Dragius. I think I agree. In terms of, like, the biggest buff in terms of, like, moving the needle the most, I think I agree Dragius got the most benefit out of this list. But, if you're telling me which deck do I think has gotten the most out of it in terms of, like, they were already good and now they've gotten a little bit better, I would say, obviously, Aqua's going to be feeling pretty good because they've just had their competition nerfed. Elemental Hero and Gradius are probably fit. Well, actually, Gradius actually got quite a big hit, right? Elemental Hero is probably feeling pretty good because their list is unchanged, I want to say. But Gradius was playing triple Ghost Cyclone, so now Gradius might actually be in a bit of a weird spot. What other decks? I think Baseball's feeling pretty good. The deck was okay before, and now it's just gotten 1 extra card. Like, nothing's really changed for Baseball, but, like, there's a little boost. It's gonna feel it, right? And it was already an okay deck, right? Holy facts. To be honest again, people are starting to get way too toxic, that they go to either extreme with no in between. I think it's sensationalism, right? It's very normal, I think. It's becoming normalized, I should say, in, like, the current kind of society, right? To be honest, I only care about the tournament player's opinion. Ladder players means nothing to me. I get what you're saying. Because when we're talking about, like, meta, and when we're talking about things in a very competitive way, tournaments obviously are so much more of that conversation than ladder. Because ladder is, let's be honest, anyone can cog on ladder. It's not hard. You're gonna get to cog if you put in like the smallest amount of effort. If you want to put in more effort, you can cog with a really bad deck. Like it's not a huge deal to be like a ladder warrior, unfortunately. It's a shame that it is that way, because getting cog is just it's free, right? Whereas if you cog in speed, I think there's at least a little bit of a challenge there, right? Like I'm not going to say cogging in speed is like crazy hard, but it's harder than rush, right? Long story short, is people just shut up and actually slow their ass down. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But then you also don't want to do the opposite. You don't want to become vitriolic towards those people either, right? So you don't want to, like, you know, meet hate with hate, effectively, right? It's cool, but it's not what the deck needs. Let them yellow button plus. Let them yellow button plus. I mean, the yellow... Yeah. So what you're saying is you just want them to lose the -1. The issue I think that Cyber Dragon is going to keep having is... We know what's coming in the future. We know they're going to get Cyber Rush Fusion. We know they're going to get Power Bond eventually, right? And giving a plus skill to a deck like that could be pretty rough. You could argue you could give them the plus now and take it away later, but I don't think they just want to faff around with that. It's awkward. It's an awkward one. Absolutely everything. Hello, Tomate. How's it doing? Hello, United. Welcome, welcome. I was between Straight Pierce and Fusion. No, one or the other would have been fine. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, right? I don't think they would have hit a Fusion because they are URs. I guess they could have hit Full Orchestra because I think that was not in the box. I was between... Yeah, we've already read that one. And we're in an ad break, so we'll just let that go away. Just wait for the ads. Then we'll try and catch up with the chat once these ads go away. 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome back from the ads. All right. Hey, hello, Corey. Welcome, welcome. If only your opponent controls a monster. I mean, okay. Hello, Brad. Welcome, welcome. Shout out to Dynamix dodging the unlimited list for absolutely no reason. Yeah, I went back and checked. Now it's just Dynamix and the Harpy Lady Max are the only two maximum still limit 3'd. Harpy, I kind of get, right? Because the maximum itself is actually good. It's just really hard to summon. And Harpies will be very, very powerful in the future. Dynamix, like, even when it gets the rest of its support, is still not going to be, like, a crazy strong deck without a crazy good skill. So it's very, very strange to me. Trap Pigeon for the win. Shit, forgot about that. And when your opponent gets a card in the graveyard, Konami going to release the Dino alternative maximum pieces, the Dino spots. They'd have to release it, like, next box, I think, for it to have, like, a big impact. Dragius, good now, right, guys? I mean, it's going to be more playable than it was. Trying to learn what's good and what's not so I can play Rush a bit. Well, we've just had the GRF, right? So we do have a lot of information from that. And then the new changes we got don't look super crazy. So probably what was good then is still going to be good, I would expect. Fair to complain about Seven's Road, but also future decks are going to get the exact same consistency skill. Well, we've literally just seen that with Red Eyes, right? Cough, cough, Red Eyes. Yeah, exactly. Shining City Knights Turbo is going to be tier 0. They never should have limited it. I know, I don't know what they were thinking. I hope you enjoy Rush Dueling so far. Any deck can get Cog in this meta, Rush. Some decks will struggle, like Insects, Worms, stuff like that. I think Worms will have less of a struggle than some other decks. I think Worms is a little bit slept on. Worms is like, it's not a top tier strategy. It's not even really a tiered strategy. But the deck can win games by just doing its game plan, right? You don't have to, like, have a load of techs or whatever. You can just, like, beat a lot of the best decks if you just get a little bit lucky, so... I guarantee if there is demotion and rush ladder like there's in speed, there'd be way more tilting. Hello, Ari, by the way. Yeah, I agree. It comes down to if we made getting Cog more difficult, then effectively you'd kind of just be gatekeeping by being like, oh, being Cog in Rush should be like an achievement. And it's like, I don't think that needs to be. Like, if you want like that hyper competitive thing, you have like tournaments. We do have the GRF. We do have WCQ. I think just having Rush be free is kind of fine, especially since all the speed players like to come over and just get their gems from it. I think that's fine. Because no matter how we get the speed players in, if they get in and they don't hate it, I think that's That's positive for us, right? Overall. The issue is when they come over, they lose a bunch because they don't know how to play, like, efficiently. But the thing is, any speed player that is, like, cogged in speed, any player that has ever cogged in speed can just pick up a rush deck, learn it. It's going to take just next to no time to learn because let me say, the rush decks are so much more simpler than speed decks, and any of them can cog for sure. The issue is, I think a lot of them come over, they don't put any time or research into the deck, even though, again, it requires very bare minimum. And then they're like, oh, I hate this format. It's like, I get it, but at the same time. Light Galaxy just got unhit, so you're in luck. Exactly. If it was ladder, Light Galaxy can get cog. Brian got cog with the friend campaign deck, only one extra Explorer and one Eve. There we go then. Oh, nice. Can someone send me a good Light Galaxy list in Discord? I don't have any good text, though, if anyone has one. The issue is, Light Galaxy hasn't been a strong deck in the last couple of metas. Therefore, we haven't really had any topping lists. So we're now going to be exploring new builds because of the new unhits that they just got. So it'll be interesting to see what the new Light Galaxy list does end up looking like. But I don't know if anyone has, like, an up-to-date tested one, let's put it that way. I'm saving all my chronicles for my winged beast, Lady Harpy, Lady Pet Master. I really don't like the Harpies personally, but that's just a me thing. By the way, three Phoenix Dragon, one more body. I mean, yep, this is pretty good. You should ask Dwan or Bisma. They're the expert. Exactly. Exactly. Especially if you want baseball. Nice. The last Rush ban list ever. No Rush 2026. Hello, Kim friend. Welcome on in. If you still have your Chronicle Dream ticket, you can get a third Oblivion for free in there. You pretty much want to get more copies of Explorer, Eve's Secret Order. Techs are kind of whatever. So the big thing with Light Galaxy at the moment is Light Galaxy still doesn't have a great way to play around specifically Shady, right? So you can get your extra plasma out, but you've got to invest into getting the extra plasma out, and then they'll just flip down the extra plasma. Which means, ideally, you want to have enough resources to get an extra plasma out to force the Shady, and then still have the resources left to summon out Eternal after that, which can be really awkward. So I'm not sure what exactly the build is going to look like, if it's going to have more back row hate involved, or if we're just going to try and ignore that overall. It's going to be a tricky one for sure. Tomato, I'm looking forward to next month's deck build box with 6 more new cards. Let's go. I hope we get something a little bit more substantial. Obviously, I'm expecting the next thing to drop to be the structure deck for Red Eyes. That's what I'm hoping. If it ends up being a deck build Red Eyes with, like, the Soul Jersey stuff in it, I think that's going to be really disappointing. But, you know, we should prepare ourselves that could be the case. Jorfil is probably the best Light Galaxy topping player. I mean, there's a lot of really strong Light Galaxy topping players, right? Obviously, Jorfio and Parko both went to Worlds. Both of them played that deck a lot. I mean, even Hikari played that deck a lot. She was even playing it after the decks kind of fell out of favor and was still doing okay with it. Sak was also a big Light Galaxy player. I'm trying to think off memory who were, like, the big Light Galaxy players. Because, like, there are players that will just pick up any deck and just play it fine. But there were players that did kind of champion the deck for a while. But yeah, Jorfio, another absolutely fantastic one. Oh, wait, what am I about? Now that I think about it, I can do 3 Secret Order Drake Crush without using my Limit 3. I'm trying to think what Drake Crush is. I'm also trying to work out what other Limit 3 you'd put in now, because there aren't that many good Limit 3s left. That's basically it. Just wait for the anniversary for the SR Dream ticket. Okay, I may even pick up a new deck. I'll just wait to see. Secret Order free is Gaia buff. We are so back. I don't even know if it is a Gaia buff. Like, if you're playing the dedicated Gaia deck, right? Then you're playing Curse of Dragon and you're playing Battle-Tested Gaia. For what reason do you need to put regular Gaia in the deck? Right? You can Secret Order it back, but it's the only Secret Order target. It's a target for monster calling. And I guess if you just have, like, the Gaia skill, you can access polymerization, which you could use with the vanilla Gaia. But, like, I don't know. Part of me feels like you don't even play vanilla Gaia in the Gaia deck. Again, unless you're playing the Gaia skill. But I don't even know if the Gaia skill is good enough anymore. Part of me is thinking that you might even play like a pile deck, and instead of playing the Gaia's skill, you play like the Avarice skill or something. I don't know. It's a tricky one. Alright, let's try and catch up with chat a little bit here. I mean, just summon big guys, and then they don't use Shady. You meet your Charger Curse. That's the guys you want to get, but if you have them good, Galaxy, forgot his name, the skill, try to summon Rhynac, some of the other lights. Also, like Galaxy, Light Ray Dragon coming. I mean, there's always a chance. Hello, Swag Boy. Is the Royal Rebel deck / archetype good or fun? Because I've been looking for it to play Spellcaster. I never watched the Rush anime, but I like how it plays. I would say that Royal Rebel is probably about a rogue deck. It's not super powerful, but if you do draw well and you don't fall into traps, the deck can win games. And the deck is very fun in my opinion. It's one of my favorite decks. The downside is, the biggest issue that deck has is, one, you play a crap ton of high-level monsters. And the skill will sort you out a lot of the time, but if you look at your hand and it's 5 high-level monsters, not even the skill is going to fix that completely. If you look at your hand and it's all spell traps, well, again, you can't do anything, right? And the deck can be a bit volatile because of that. But, again, if everything works out, it's really fun, it's really cool. The biggest other issue, again, is that we say it's traps. The deck loses to, like, every trap. You lose to Negate Attack, you lose to Widespread Ruin, you lose to Trap Hole, we don't necessarily lose to Compulse, but we can lose to Compulse. We lose to Shady. Like, there's a lot of traps that just basically say, oh, you've done your big play? No. And then you go, oh, well, I guess I'm done. I have all of those. Secret Order off the ban list means Hero can play with Starry Start. The thing is, would you play Neos in Hero? Is there a reason to, outside of 25 Bungus Go, right? Like, it's a weird one. Drake Crush is the Worm Vanilla. Drake Crush is the Worm Vanilla. Oh, the 2400. Right. Yeah. So you can play, like, Secret Order Worms and still lose to set 3, I guess. But, I mean, maybe it's not important. Fun? Yes. Good? Hell no. It's not that bad, but requires a lot of piloting. Look, it's my favorite tomorrow. Hello, Victor. Noted. Also, Blue Fang dodged the unlimits Dedge. I mean, it's never getting unhit, bro. You have to accept that. Fun is all I'm here, so we good. Funnily enough, I accidentally said it out loud, so I said originally, Miss Mutton look kind of funny, lol. I don't know, Thundering Gazelle, and give her the piercing option. So, obviously you've been out of the game a little bit, Ari, but we did see Miss Mutton win a tournament. I want to say it won one tournament, but it was a less than 16 player tournament. And then it got like 3 second place finishes. So the deck was doing quite well. But people were playing it with just the Pierce spell card, because the Pierce spell card is just very reliable, right? Nice. Papa says hi. Aw. It's really fun. Most of the game you feel useless, and it's a Stegosaurus victim because of the debuff. I got Cog this season with Meeg, only 2 circulations, use normal Pierce and Summon at Dawn. It was really funny to see people struggle. Yeah, it's very just good deck. I gotta go, sadly. Thanks for stopping by. Secret Order off the ban list means we're definitely going to get cross promotion and noodle fusions in the next Rush main box, releasing Christmas Day. I don't think that's gonna happen, Gunkin Suship Shari. I just, as much as I want to, I want to enable this. I want to enable this thought process. I want to believe and huff the same copium. I do not think it's going to happen, unfortunately. The realist in me is bringing me back to reality. Gonna lurk, be right back. Thanks for stopping by. Neo. So sad that the guy in charge to limit circulation got shot to dead by a hero player in his way to Konami HQ. Yeah, I don't know why they won't hit that card. Like, it's been, like, what, 3 months? We've been like, okay, this card now needs to get hit, right? And it's still going strong. I'm like, again, I get it from the we don't want to hit the new Neo stack angle. At the same time, you can hit it in a way where it doesn't impact the Neo stack that badly, right? There are ways to do it. I don't know, man. We need a way to reduce high-level monsters to buff heavy metal so they won't give us progressive. Is that a subscription from MF Hum, thank you so much. Do appreciate it.
MFHM just subscribed.
MFH. I love how the TTS just doesn't know how to handle these names. But thank you. Do appreciate it. Since they reduced Ghost Cyclone to 1, there's really no reason to remove Bluetooth from the list. I mean, yeah, like what else are you gonna play from the limit 3s, realistically? I played Dino Mist in the speed side. I think it would be fine if I play I Will Fight If Anything. Well, there you go then. You got a way to increase level. Why do you need to reduce it? We need ways to lower levels in insects. Nah, you don't need that. Don't worry about that. If anything, you'd think they'd have a skill to do it. But then, it's a tricky one. For heavy metal, I guess. I'm curious, Tomato, what do you think would have to be in the box to finally make a new Rush main box? I don't think we're ever going to get a main box. Is my overall opinion. I don't think there is any need for us to have a main box. I think if they ever did anything close to a main box again, it would be exactly what they did with the Go Rush release, where they just give us 2 mini boxes. I honestly just do not see us ever getting a main box again. I don't think there's a reason to. But Neos doesn't run any other Limit 3 anymore. You can put Circulation to 3. No, but yeah, it won't hurt the Neos deck. Well, there's the Hype Train. It's just randomly showed up. Thank you, Hype Train. You can. Then it would clash with the original Elemental Heroes, right? So then they'd have Star Restart clashing with it. So it comes down to, like, do they want to hit the old hero deck? So that's probably what they're feeling. Because, again, what I wanted was Circulation to 2, personally. That's what I think would have been really good. Most of the lethal Hard Rock. I'm still very happy GC got hit. No more Giga Tilting off 1 Ghost Cyclone during... Yeah, personally, I'm quite happy about it as well. Increase levers, most of the lethal and hard rock. For heavy metal to pop it, true. You can just increase the other monsters. The thing is, you don't need heavy metal to be able to pop everything, right? You have doom metal. We have hard rock, right? We don't need heavy metal to do everything, right? Because the deck isn't heavy metal turbo. The deck is Royal Rebels. And as a deck, all of your different tools should have a different function, right? So, like, in my opinion, I look at heavy metal as the punish if they're playing low levels, and then I look at, like, doom metal as the punish if they're just summoning a bunch of guys to the board, and I look at hard rock as punish them for leaving a low attack and a high attack monster on the board at the same time, right? So they all have, like, their own different reasons and different functions. We need super minis. I would like super minis to come back. I don't really want super minis, if I'm being honest. I would rather we just had nothing but minis. That would be what my own selfish desire. Give me minis all the time. Nothing but minis. Get rid of that deck build box bullshit. I don't care about the reprints. That's nothing to do with me. That's for those players that don't have all the cards. Right? Get rid of that selection box bullshit. I don't want any of that either. That doesn't help me. That just takes all my gems. I don't want that. Give me the minis. Minis are great. Mini supremacy. Lowering the level is dealing with level 9 plus monsters of heavy metal. If it hurts hero, then unlimit start restart. I mean, yeah, but that's the other question, right? Is should star restart still be limited? I think a lot of people are saying no. But personally, I don't know where I sit on it. I don't like star restart that much. But when it originally got hit, it was hit because of, very specifically, Metarian. Because Metarian has always been a problem child. And when it got hit, it hurt a lot of other decks as well. I think the biggest one was the Yami Ruler deck, right? Because you would use it in the Yami Tarasu deck to try and, like, turbo out Yami Tarasu and... Is it Kimi Tarasu? I think it's Kimi Tarasu. You know, the one that pops defense position monsters. And it hurt that deck quite badly, so... if they gave you another main box, half of it would be reprints anyway. Exactly. So I just don't care about a main box personally. That card is not dangerous anymore. Circ to 2 or 1 would be nice. That's what I wanted as well. And then again, I also wanted Ballet put to 2. I think if we got Ballet to 2, Circ to 2, to me, that is enough that Music Princess is hit to an extent I'm happy with. I think just straight Pierce to 1 isn't good enough for me personally. Now I get it. Heavy metal is my least favorite anyway. Heavy metal's awesome. I think heavy metal's art on both different versions, the Overrush and the original, incredible. And I think the effect is really, really cool. But you have to remember, it came out very, very, very early 7s, right? So that card is ancient now. It shouldn't have the same power level as the more up-to-date ones. They're releasing a deck build box instead of Super Mini so they can avoid giving us 250 gems. I mean, that, and they can also stuff a load of reprints in there. But I suppose did Minis? I think Super Minis had reprints anyway, although there weren't that many cards in them. Royal Rebel's biggest problem has pretty much been that they have too little resources to work with for a deck that requires such hard committal plays. I don't think that's as bad now. Like, I had a game before where I was playing the deck, and I put one of my opponent's back row, you summon out your boss, then they compulse it back to the hand. I still had enough resources to summon it again with another 2 high-level tributes, pop, and then go for the OTK. So, like, I think the deck is in a much better position than it has been in the past in terms of resources. But yeah, it's still not quite there. Especially when you look at some of the decks like Jointech just gets everything for free, right? Like, that deck gets to have 6 monsters that you can summon for 1 less tribute. So let's say you summon 3 bosses in a turn. Well, that's a +3, effectively. And the skill gives you a +1 back as well. So that's like a +4. And you just get to do all of that whilst popping your opponent's back row. You can summon out Leo to give you extra plussing, and then you can use the card you get back from Leo to do so much, right? You can get back one of the level 7 bosses, and then you can use that to turn the skill on. You can get back fodder to be discarded off of Stegocelos. You can get back multiple copies of Jointech Rex, so you can pop all your opponent's back row. There's just so much stuff you can do. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous. So, like, comparing that to what Royal Rebels get, which is like a +1, right? It's like, yes. Excellent. This will make the deck playable. Everyone is tired of deck build boxes. 6 new cards a month is very sad. The problem was Matarian, I think was Psychic. Realistically, the card originally got hit because of Matarian. That was the reason that the Starry Start got hit. Like, Psychic was using it, right? But I personally think, like, Matarian was the biggest defender. I don't think he got hit during the Psychic dominant format. But let's head over here. Let's let this update and recognize what it's supposed to be doing. Come on, OBS. There we go. There's one. And we'll go ahead and grab up Chrome as well, because we're going to want this. Okay. Oh, that looks very different to what it's supposed to look like. Are we on the wrong Chrome? Oh, we are on the wrong Chrome. Okay. There we go. There we go. Everything's better now. Everything's better. Everything's fine, guys. We fixed everything. Is that Rarity Fangirl in the chat? Chaos Galaxy is free. Best day ever. Gonna main this so hard. We'll do an exclamation mark Rarity. I do not know how good Chaos Galaxy is going to be. In the same way, I'm not sure how good Light and Dark Galaxy are going to be on their own. Just because all of them still have the big issue of we still don't really play around Legend Trap or Shady, right? We still don't really have good tools to deal with that. So it's going to be like, the more cards you put in the deck to play around those trap cards, the worse, like, the less gas you're going to have to get to your combo. And again, the original way the deck was so good, and when it was like the best deck ever, was it was just all gas. It was nothing but gas. You just vomit everything onto the board, pop your opponent's back row, summon out the boss, Galactica, use Eve, use that, get all this extra advantage, do your big OTK play, fill up the graveyard, bam, you win. But now we have Shady, so I think it's going to be a lot more trickier. A lot trickier. 40 years old now, time flies. Well, congratulations on being 40, Zeki boys. Yeah, I think Matarian caused Starry Start to the Limb 3 when Psychic Tizera was like 1 bear, 2 restart, or 1 bear, 1 restart, 1 melody if I recall correctly, yeah. I play for fun, so this is fine to me. I'm just happy I can play them on ladder. I mean, yeah, you can play anything on ladder though, right? So I think you could have just been playing Chaos Galaxy up to this point. Now it's just a little bit stronger, right? Easy fix, no traps, 3 Universal Storm, 3 over Rush Storm, easy. I mean, alright, I don't think over Rush Storm is the way to go. Just because you don't want your graveyard emptied. The whole point of the strategy is to fill the graveyard with absolutely everything, right? So I don't know if that is going to specifically be the way to fix it, but, you know, there's a chance. But let's have a quick look. Let's take a look at this ban list, and we'll tell you what's going on. So, we'll look at the speed stuff as well. Super Conductor Tyranno. Now, this is a dinosaur. But this isn't a real dinosaur. This might look like a dinosaur. It might say dinosaur on it. It might have the word Tyranno in the name. This is a burn card. This is not a dinosaur card. We do not affiliate ourselves with this dinosaur. Where is he? This dinosaur. He is not one of us, okay? Respect play. This is the most dogshit card possibly ever created. But it's a floodgate, specifically in Duel Links. So we got to get rid of it. This isn't the first time we've hit a weird continuous trap, and it won't be the last. It's a war criminal. There we go. Then we have Jellyfish. So your opponent must play with their hand revealed. So guess what? It's exactly the same. All of these, your opponent keeps the hand revealed cards. We're getting rid of them. So when this card is sent to the graveyard, banish one random card from your opponent's hand until the end phase. I assume this is using some sort of like hand loop stuff. I don't know why this card was hit. This is new to me. I mean, we can click into it. It'll probably tell us, right? Seeing playing Chimera and a tiny amount in Ogdoadic. So what? It just like rips cards out your opponent's hand when you're playing Chimera? What does this change? Oh, because you want to play one of these, I guess, then you're not going to be playing this. Okay. The Psychic Mastered go hard with 70% power and use 3-star restart. We can no longer respect our opponent. It looks like a dinosaur, but due to legal reasons, it's not. She uses 2 bear, 3-star restart, and 1 level 7. Hand ripping your opponent, Chimera. By the way, I've got an FTK'd by that. Aesir Pass. That is for Chimera. You send with Beatrice. There we go. So they're trying to stop the Beatrice plus Snapdragon combo. Okay. Then we have Jormungandr, the Nordic Serpent. All right, what is this card being used for? Where's the bullshit? We know there's going to be bullshit. If an Aesir monster is on the field, especially on this card. If an Aesir monster is not on the field, destroy this card. Face it card. Face it defense position card. Change to attack position. Take 3,000 damage. What is this being used in? This is an interesting one. This has to be some sort of degenerate crap, right? Is looking at this list going to tell me anything? Like, anything at all? How do we FTK with this? There he is. Nordic FTK? I've not heard of Nordic FTK, so I have no idea what this does. I've gotten hit by this FTK. I mean, it makes sense that it's an FTK. And that's why it's getting hit. But I have no idea how this FTK works. I mean, it's not even that important, really. So, Ceruli, Guru of Darkworld. This card is discarded to the graveyard. By effect, special summon it graveyard to your opponent's side of the field defense position. When this card is special summon with effect, a Darkworld card, your opponent must discard 1 card. So this is, again, just like hand ripping, I guess. Elephant Statue. This is always just degenerate stuff. The only time this card, I think, has ever been used for something not degenerate is when last turn FTK was a deck. And so what people would do is they would side in Elephant Statue of Disaster. Obviously this was in TCG. And then if your opponent did the last turn combo of like Jaugen last turn, Elephant Statue of Disaster went to the graveyard and then burned your opponent for the rest of their life points. So you won. But I don't even know if that works like anymore because the rulings back then were very strange. They summon 3 to your field, and they use a card to shift all 3 to attack, and you take 9,000 damage. Well, that sounds pretty bad. You draw your entire deck, summon the Beast, Synchro, poop out these 2 Nordic Burn guys on the opponent's field, and kill them. Yeah, it does sound very, very rough. It's funny because hitting Elephant as the new Mokuba skill was heavily abusing the card. That is pretty funny. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what it was used in. Oh man, this looks like so much fun, guys. This looks like the kind of deck that you would queue against on ladder, and you'd be like, oh man, I'm gonna have a great time. Oh boy. And we're just hitting both the problem children at the same time by the look of it. Alright, Tachyon Transmigration. I think this is kind of cool. I don't know if this is going to have a huge impact. Obviously, there are plenty of Tachyon players. But I think a big part of that is just going to be the fact that it's an anime deck, it's a fan favorite deck, and the deck is like okay. Having an Omni is still always good, right? It's funny hitting Woodland Sprite Aware. Exactly. Then we have Dragoonity Whirlwind. This is an interesting one. Just because Dragon, like, pile decks are, like, still kind of a thing. So, like, I don't think this is going to do anything, but it's interesting that it's here. Corkscrew as well. Right, now we'll get into the rush stuff, right? Ghost Cyclone to 1. I think everyone's quite happy about this. I personally would have liked to see a lot of these cards go to limit 3. Because then, like we say, bad decks can still play Ghost Cyclone if they want to. Now, if I had it my way, I would have moved Pot of Greed to 3 as well. So bad decks really would have had 1 Pot of Greed, 2 Ghost Cyclone, right? That was the logic. And then if Shieldbore and Kong was at 3, it meant that like you wouldn't be playing Ghost Cyclone or Pot of Greed, right? But again, my list was also Jointech Leo to 3, which would have really hammered that home. My wasted UR Dream ticket for Ghost Cyclone. Rest in peace, Gnarlcoop. Rest in peace. Cyclone is getting the trap treatment. Yeah, basically. Finally, pro player will stop drawing 3 Ghost Cyclone plus 1 Pot of Greed. You'll never stop him. You'll never stop him. Even if it's at limit 1, he'll still find a way. So Shieldbore and Kong. Yeah. So I think we all know where this is going, right? So we're going to play Jointech in the exact same way. We're going to take out 1 copy of Kong, because we have to. We're going to take out 1 Pot of Greed, and we're going to put in 1 copy of Ancient Gear Golem. And then the deck is going to fundamentally be exactly the same. Having them forced onto Ancient Gear Golem does mean that Shady is going to give you 1,500 more life points, which is like, okay. But in a lot of kit situations, people have been cutting Shady anyway, exactly because of this deck. So now it's like if your opponent's never going to drop a Golem on you because they're always going to summon out the Rex first, then you still don't really want to play Shady against it, so it's still awkward. Kong is a Jointech card. Sorry, I don't know any of this stuff. So Shieldbore and Kong is not like a Jointech card traditionally, but it is a machine Earth monster. The Jointech skill locks you into Earth machines. So you can play this card in the deck, but it is not like part of the deck. The reason this card sees play is because Jointech in Archetype don't have any way to get through set 3. So their opponent just keeps setting 3, you just have to just walk into them and hope that your opponent runs out of cards before you do, assuming they're able to just continuously like go defensive, right? Or they can wait until they draw out their combo that can try and clap back. Shieldbore and Kong pops a face-down monster and gains 1,000 because it's a 33, so you can just pop something and then attack directly with that 33 edge monster. The only other way that this deck can beat set 3 is with Ancient Gear Golem, which not many people were on, but some people were, which again has that piercing. And then Curse. Curse of the Rising Light is the other big annoying card, which again didn't get hit. We were hoping that Curse was going to get hit here. Unfortunately, it did not. They will set Golem. Unironically, they can just do that. Kong is an Asana card. I mean, it is. Yeah, it's sort of an Asana card. This will have an impact, just not a big one. Oh, then this would be good, I see. They can recover Kong from the graveyard with the skill bow. Oh, yeah, they can. But now they have to find their one of, right? If Kong is just in like the bottom 10 cards of the deck, they might just never see it all duel, right? So like cutting that in half is still pretty big. Straight Pierce, on the other hand. Yeah. So again, what does this do? Barely anyone was playing more than 1 copy of this card. Barely anyone. There were like maybe 2 people, top 100, playing more than 1 of this card. So taking an extra copy out is sort of meaningless. So what this does is it stops you from playing Pot of Greed. Now, Pot of Greed, again, best legend spell. It's really good. But basically all you're doing is saying, right, stop playing Pot of Greed, Music Princess. Now you have to play the Warrior Returning Alive. Which, like, it is a nerf, but it's barely anything. It's like a slap on the wrist. Like, it now means that you won't get sacked as much. Avarice is not that good, though. You want Matt's for Rex skill. Yeah, I don't think they're going to play Avarice. I don't think they're going to play Avarice. I think they're going to play Warrior Returning Alive. Oh, with the other one. So you can recover it with Leo, I believe, can recover it, and you can recover it with the skill. So you don't even need Avarice to recover it, right? Play Pot of Greed, they'll play Kong. They can't play Pot of Greed if they play Kong, but they're going to be playing Avarice anyway. Yeah, I think, alright, I personally think in that deck, they can play Avarice. I think Jointech can play Avarice. The reason why is because that deck is mostly milling, right? Like, I mean, we can bring it up, right? We can take a look at, like, the generic list or whatever. So, what do we have here? We have a Miller. We have a Miller. Only mills 1, though. We have a Miller. This does not mill, but it gets more cards in the graveyard. The deck has so many ways to just pump cards into the graveyard that I don't think it's going to matter that much. Unless you need to, like, loop Jointech Rexes in a single turn. We're talking, like, using 3 Jointech Rex effects in a single turn. I think you'll be fine. Because when you use the Pot of Avarice, you're going to draw out more of these millers, right? So you could just put some of these cards back, draw into the millers, summon them, use their effects, mill even more cards into the graveyard to then fuel the Jointech Rex effect. So I think it might get a little bit awkward occasionally, but I don't think it's going to be a deal breaker, right? I think you could still just play Pot of Avarice in this deck and it'll be fine. What does Secret Order to 3 really do with Ghost Unhit, hit to 1? Not a lot, realistically. I mean, we'll talk about that when we get to it, because we're still kind of going through these in order. But Dark Hole Device 2. This is fine. I think this is not going to have a huge impact. I think the biggest thing now is that people will be playing this deck a little bit more, right? And that is fine, because I do think that the generic Dark Galaxy deck is still fine. It's not, like, super powerful, but it's still very playable. This is going to make it a little bit more playable, and occasionally you'll be able to win with your Dark Hole Device combo. The one nice thing about having a board wipe, like, kind of built in, and that can also pop face downs, is you don't have to worry about, does my deck beat X? Does my deck beat Y? You can beat maximums with this, right? You can beat high attack monsters. You can beat face down monsters. This card does it all. So in the same way that Baseball doesn't have to care about that, this deck also doesn't have to care about that. Now, the main difference is Baseball can just OTK with normal monsters, which this deck can't do, right? That is the big difference. Outside of that, I still think this is going to be decent. Yes, what I meant, Mono. Hikari better go back to being a Dark Galaxy main. I mean, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. So cards to be unlimited. Red Boot Boost, Enhanced Boost Dragon. So, I don't hate this change. We still only have 1 copy of this card. So all this is doing is saying you can now play Pot of Greed in high-tech dragons. Which, like, that's fine. I would have liked this deck to also get a slight hit in putting Pierce to 3. That is the other thing I would have liked. Because giving this deck a little bit more consistency is fine. I just wanted them to have less OTK shenanigans. Because again, it's the getting killed in 1 turn part of this deck that sucks. Because this deck is just gambling, right? It's literally, does my opponent have a trap card to stop me? Yes, I lose the game. Does my opponent not have a trap card to stop me? No, I win the game. So there's not, like, a lot going on with this deck right now. I would like this to go back to being what it was before the fusions came out. Back when the deck was actually interesting. Back when there were lots of different lines you could make. Back when there were lots of different ways that you could play the deck. You had lots of different win cons. Now the deck is like, am I just going to, like, burn my opponent and try and one-shot them with Enhanced? Or am I going to just attack them with 9,000 double attack Pierce? So, like, I want to like this deck. I really want to like it, because I think the art on the cards is really cool. I think individually, the cards are really cool. I just think the deck as it is right now in Duel Links is super toxic. So I'm not a big fan. And it still has the problem of, it's still just worse than Miss Mutton and Baseball, right? It's just worse than those decks because we lose to Shady, where those decks don't, right? So it's very awkward. It's very awkward. I faced in Dark Galaxy on GRF, and I lost the board wipe every time. I mean, that's not great. That's not great. Full Custom, are you sure about that? I mean, Full Custom also got nerfed, don't forget about that. Because that deck was playing, Gradius was playing 3 Ghost Cyclone. So now that deck has actively lost 2 cards. And then it's going to lose its Legend spell, right? Or the Ghost Cyclone. So you've got to now replace that with something. So it's going to be very awkward. My boy, he's free. I've been begging. I mean, yeah, I think this is fine. Overall, I don't really dislike this. Phoenix Dragon is actually really nice. This is a big consistency boost to, like we say, the high-tech dragons. And this, I think, primarily is meant to be a boost to Dragius, as in, like, the Strike Dragon deck with the Geas charge. I think this is fine. Again, my biggest issue with all of the dragon decks right now is all of them do some unfun bullshit. Like, every single one of them does a little bit of unfun bullshit. And so, giving them 3 copies of Phoenix Dragon is going to make that happen more often. Which is like... That's why I do like that Phoenix Dragon has been unhit. Because I think consistency is king. But, I wish we had addressed some of the unfun stuff as well, which we just haven't done, right? I was not playing Ghost Cyclone in my Gradius deck because I don't have a single copy of that card. But a lot of people have been using their tickets on it. So, yeah, that's one way you could potentially get it. Cyber Dragon. What does unhitting this card do? What has this done? Right, let's jump back. Right, let's jump over. If we go ahead, we'll get a nice visual indicator. If we go to the tier list. So, these are our new Limit 3 cards. These are the current Limit 3 cards. What card out of these do we want to put with Cyber Dragon? Like, maybe this? Given Cyber Twin Piercing? That, yeah, maybe? Like, you're not playing it with Yamiterasu. You're not playing it with Dynamix. You're not playing it with Yamirula. You're not playing it with Gaia, realistically. You're not playing it with Blue Fang. You're not playing it with Candy. Maybe, like, a pile deck Dragius. Like, maybe we play a deck that's, like, Dragius plus Cyber Twin that just tries to attack 4 to 5 times each turn and just win that way. We're not playing it with Harpy Ladies. I don't think there's a world we play it with Chrysaor. I think it'd be way too inconsistent. Extra Spice, no way. We're not playing it with Star Troutser. At a stretch, maybe Torero, but I think we're stretching very thin. We're not playing it with Vicepot Bear. Over a Storm, maybe? No, 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 and no, right? So it's like, what does it change? Forgot Sidra was limited. Now you don't need any. Don't you need all the cards to be machine for the skill? Yeah, but you don't have to play that skill, right? You got to remember, we're looking at this in a vacuum, right? We don't have to play Cyber Dragon with the Cyber Dragon skill. We can now play this in any other deck, right? Because fundamentally, the issue we had originally was we couldn't play Mirror Innovator and Cyber Dragon in the same deck because both were limit 3. So Innovator got unhit, but we still couldn't play it with the Cyber Dragon skill because Cyber Dragon skill says no level 7s. So now both of those cards are unhit, and there's still not a ton we can do with it, right? So it's a bit of an awkward situation. I guess we can now just... We'll do some deck building after this. We'll take a look and see what we can make happen, but I'm not sure what we're going to be able to do with it. So Worm, Excavator, the Heavy Cavalry Draco, there's... Like, what does this change? We can now... Again, like, what in here do we want to play with this? It's probably just going to be Overrush Storm. Obviously, the card that we would have played is Secret Order. But now that's also unlimited, so they're both unlimited at the same time, which is awkward. Yggdrago's in a similar boat. I don't really see what we do with Yggdrago, realistically. You can see my list in Discord. I mean, I can. I didn't think much of it. Without trying to sound rude. I think there's going to be some interesting stuff we can do, but until Tough is, like, tested, I'm going to hold my judgment on any of these lists, right? Until stuff is actually, like, thoroughly tested, does well in a tournament, that's where I'm going to be like, bam. I think the way is playing Gradius with Sidra. The question becomes, though, what was stopping you from playing Gradius and Sidra before? Right? What is the Sidra unhit change? What other Limit 3 were you playing? Because if it was Go Cyclone, well, that's gone anyway, right? Star Restart? I don't think you'd play Star Restart in this deck. Just because, one, if you're playing the maximum, you're probably not playing the fusion stuff. So those already, like, kind of clash. It's a little bit awkward there. Yggdrago and Worm Excavator in the same deck? I mean, you could do. I guess you could play Star Restart in the Yggdrago deck, but the fusions for the Cyburst are still kind of eh. I'm not feeling much about these two. Shining City Knights is just... It's finally free. It's been 2 years, guys. It's been 2 years. And finally, the field spell that buffs light monsters by 200 attack, not even defense, by the way, has finally been freed. Hallelujah. What could go wrong? Shiny. Why was this card even limited in the first place? It's so strange. All right. Secret Order. Secret Order. Secret Order. Secret Order. Now, this is an interesting one. The biggest issue is Secret Order was limited 3. The only other card that was really conflicting with it, that was like, oh, maybe we can replace Secret Order plus this, was Ghost Cyclone. But now, so Ghost Cyclone is 1. So now Secret Order doesn't really conflict with anything. And now there's not really any limit 3s that you really need to play Secret Order with. So it's put us in a bit of a weird spot. The big one could be Battle-Tested Gaia. But again, I don't think we need to play the vanilla Gaia with this card. Like, unless, again, we're playing very specifically the Gaia skill. In which case, yeah, there could be something there. New Dragius can finally become 3,000 plus 300 from the skill and 200 from the field spell. Oh my god. We've made it. We've made it. Starry Start and Sun decks. This allows you to play Zyphos in like Galaxy and Star Tracer too. I don't think you'd ever play Star Trancer, just because I think having 3 copies of Chrysaor is going to be so much more important if you're playing like Chaos, right? In terms of Zyphos, Zyphos is just bad. So this card, getting this effect off now is not the end of the world, because people are playing 7s and 8s, right? But if your opponent has a face-up level 7 or 8 monster on their field, equip it to 1 face-up Galaxy monster on your field. The equipped monster gains attack equal to the number of face-up normal monsters on your field times 300. If it's exactly Galactica Oblivion, it gains 1,000 more attack. So best case scenario, we're gaining 1,900 attack on Galactica Oblivion, which is probably the best thing you can do with this. So maybe there is a world in which we just play like a crap ton of spells that just boost the attack. So we could play this alongside, what was the spell card called? Galactica Force, is it? Play it alongside this. Shuffle 3 Galaxy monsters from the graveyard. All Galaxy normal monsters in your field gain attack equal to the number of normal monsters in the field times 300. But then at what point are we just building an OTK deck again, right? We're just Galactica Force and Galactica Zyphos Turbo with like a Rika. So like the best case scenario would be like we summon out Galactica Oblivion, summon out Rika, Rika's effect, give it piercing, tribute off the Rika for another normal monster, get out another normal monster, activate all of these spells, boost the attack up to 1,000,000 billion, and then attack through and hope your opponent doesn't have exactly a legend. Which, I mean, that could unironically be a good deck. I don't think it's a healthy deck, but it could be a good deck. Did you go over the speed ban list? Yeah, we've just finished going over the speed stuff. We're in the rush stuff now. He did. You can check the forward. 5,100 attack Galactica Oblivion. Yeah, I don't know. It could be an interesting concept. I think trying to play it like how you would play baseball wouldn't work very well, because you need a certain number of dark Galaxy monsters and a certain number of spell cards for the board wipe part of the deck to work. And then you also need all of these spell cards to make the OTK part of the deck work. So it'd be very awkward. Because if you think about it, right? If we're playing Galactica Oblivion at 3 copies, right? That's fine. We'd be playing 3 Secret Order, 3 Galactica Force. Are we playing 3 Zyphos? Because if we are, that's already 9 spells. Just on that, right? I mean, it could work. It might be a bit weird, but it could work. We'll do some cooking. We'll definitely do some cooking. Then we have Klein. Klein unhit is fine. Realistically, this was hit as a way to try and slow down the tier 1 like Galaxy deck. That's fine. Now it's not tier 1 anymore, it can go back. And then Corridor. Corridor is, again, fine. Like, adds a bit of consistency to the Dark Galaxy deck. We're all happy with that. So then we come down to the skill changes. The only ones that really matter, I think, is Makura's Judgment. This was just toxic, so we just want to get rid of it. So they actually write up what they did here. Now prevents effect damage for the remainder of the duel. So we're trying to stop the FTK stuff. Destiny Draw skills, other effects change, blah, 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 blah. Mikanko's Grand Stage now also excludes special summons from the graveyard. So that's the big stuff. And then we come down to Rush. Cybernetic Combat Customization is now usable on 1,100 attack monsters. So the big one there is going to be Proto Cyber Dragon. There's probably a couple of others you can use it on. I haven't looked into it. And the attack boost is now 700 instead of 500. This is nice because this now allows you to attack over, very specifically, the Light Galaxy boss monsters, right? Because they're going to come out as like 29 or 3,000. And now we can get up to 31 on the Cyber Assault Dragon. So like, it is nice. Craft Troll can now be used. There we go. Good old Craft Troll. Gear Star F Charge. This actually got a significant change. Now we can grab back the dragon every single turn. Which means, theoretically, we can just, as long as our opponent has a monster face up that meets the requirement, we can just continuously have access to a body. Which means now our grind game is going to be a lot better. And it also means that our FTK, or our OTK strategy should be online a lot more. Did you mean Music Princess? Yeah, Music Princess is what I meant. The old Freudian slip. I reckon Pure Sidra it has a chance of topping a tourney now. I mean, Sidra has topped tournaments, right? I mean, was it this format? Or was it last format? It was last. So, like, the deck has been, like, okay. Like, it's had 2 top 4 finishes and a top 8 finish in the last format. So, like, it can top for sure, right? It just comes down to, like, is it going to win a tournament? Is it going to make it to finals? Who knows? Who knows? It's going to be a tricky one for sure. But, with all of that said, I think this is fine. Again, it's not how I would have done it. I've already spoken about how I would have done it. But this is okay. This has hit the problem stuff. The one thing I would like to see changed that was not changed here is I would really, really like to have seen, very specifically, circulation. I don't know why we didn't hit circulation. It's just like, that card has been around for so long. It's been a problematic card for so long. And yet, still running around, which is kind of nuts. But, it's time to sit down. It's time to have a sit down. Oh, after being stood up for an hour. This helped with buffing the weaker decks, not so much nerfing the stronger ones. Yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to, they were never going to nerf Gradius in a meaningful way. In fact, they hit Gradius harder than I thought they would. And they were never going to nerf Aqua directly, right? Realistically. Because those decks are brand new. They were never going to hit specifically like the new cards from the boxes. So because of that, if they had left Aqua at full power, but we like heavy-handedly hit these other 2 decks, it then means that Aqua just becomes like the best deck. Maybe then we just start seeing like Aqua and Elemental Hero as just the meta going forward, right? I'm guessing circulation is next if they deem that the Secret Order unhit is fine because they don't want heroes to hurt heroes. Yeah, but again, you can... I think putting it to 2 and then putting... Because again, fundamentally, the issue isn't heroes, right? We don't care about heroes themselves. We care about all the other decks making use of elemental circulation. That's what we're trying to stop. So I think putting it to 2 and then putting some of the other cards those other decks use to 2 sorts that out, right? They're just circling circulation. Exactly. Exactly. Alright. Now, before we go on to building some decks, I did want to take a look at the new OCG cards. So I'm going to look at these quickly, and then I want to do some deck building. I want to take a look at some of these other builds. So these are the Spark Card stuff. This stuff was out last time we streamed, but I didn't get a chance to look into them. So we're going to look into them now. So new Ritual Monster, Spark Hearts, Passion, and Nesh. Let's take a look at this art. I don't know how I feel about the trousers on this. There's something off about these trousers. I don't know what it is. They're too... Outside of that, I love this art. I think the background looks great. The top half of the body looks great. I'm just... For some reason, these like leggings or trousers, whatever's going on here, looks a bit weird to me. So level 9 Fire Spellcaster Ritual type monster, 2700 attack, 1700 defense, and 1 other card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Or field is very important because that means we can make room. This card gains 800 attack until the end of the turn. Okay, so we go up to 35. Then you can draw 1 card. All good things. For the rest of this turn, you cannot activate the effects of Spark Heart's Passion and Nesh. So we can't, like, loop it, I guess, to just keep drawing cards. This is just a good card. It's nothing crazy, but it's just good, right? The downside is we have to -1, and then we draw 1. So we're not plussing off of it, but making room is always a useful effect. So I think this is good. Spark Heart's Passion Makama. I don't think this art looks as good as the other one, but this is still a good art. Another level 9 spellcaster, different stats, so it's not going to be like a 1700 defense archetype or something like that. Continuous effect. The damage inflicted by the effect of sparks becomes 700. Interesting. Face up Spark Heart's Girl on your field, gain 1300 attack. Also interesting. Face up monsters on your opponent's field, lose 400 attack times the number of sparks and curtain of sparks with different names in your graveyard. So that's only ever going to be 2, because even if cards change their name to sparks, their name should still be considered sparks. So this is an 800 reduction if we get both of these in the grave. Spark Heart's Girl gets a boost. This seems... Alright, it is awkward. It's awkward as all hell. But it looks like it could be really good. It might come down to high rolling is the only issue. Because you're going to have to make sure you find all of these cards. So you're going to want to like mill turbo through the deck. I'm curious to see what the ritual spells look like. We'll have to have a look. Alright, Spark Hearts. Alright, leave it to the Spark Hearts. This is a very cute artwork. I do quite like this. So during the turn, this card is normal summoned and there are 10 or more cards in your deck. Excavate the top 3 cards of your deck and reveal them. Choose one ritual spell card among them. Add it to the hand. Place the remaining at the bottom of your deck in any order. I don't like this. So, alright, first off, I don't like that we're only looking at 3. Only looking at 3 means there's a high chance you whiff. Also, it's any ritual spell, which means this is going to be generically played in, or could be generically played in any ritual deck. That being said, because it's only 3, I don't know if it will be. But if Sparks or Curtain Sparks in your graveyard, excavate 6 cards instead. Okay, this does fix some of the problem I have with this card then. 6 cards is a lot better. Now it comes down to how many ritual spells we're going to have. Because ideally, you want as few ritual spells as possible, right? You want one ritual spell that can summon all of your bosses. That's the ideal. But now, because of how this is, we want our deck with as many ritual spells as possible, so we're more likely to hit it. Our power level is probably in between decent and good. On a good turn, it's very easy to build a triple boss board and deal 2 to 3k burn damage. Pluses from the Markama means Snipe isn't as bad for a legend monster. Okay, okay. So Pite the ally Spark. So it's got the Spark Heart's Girl stat line. During the turn this card was normal summoned, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. Increase this card's level by 3. Okay, so this is... Wait. These are 9s. So this is not... If it increased by 6, it would be very good. This is okay, I think is the way we're going to look at this. Until the end of this turn, you can choose one Spark Heart's Girl or one Need Holy Water to ward off evil spirits in your graveyard. Add it to the hand. For the rest of this turn, you cannot attack with monsters except fire spellcasters. Okay, I don't know what the spell card does, but we'll find out in a minute, hopefully. Fiamma the Ally Spark. So again, it's just got the same stats. During the turn, this card was normal summons, then the top card of your deck to the graveyard. Increase this card's level by 3 until the end of the turn. So it looks like we're never getting up to that 9. We're always going to have to use 2 monsters to get out the ritual. Then you can choose one Spark Heart's Girl or one I'm having trouble with my fields being destroyed. So these like quests, I guess. I'm not a big fan of these names. In your graveyard, add it to the hand. For the rest of this turn, you cannot attack with monsters except fire spellcaster monsters. So it's very similar, except it gets a different spell card back. I'm having trouble with my fields, so this is one of them. So this is a ritual spell, okay. Weird that they're doing this like storytelling bullshit. Ritual summon Spark Heart's Passion Girl or Spark Heart's Passion Markma by sending face-ups fire spellcasters from your field to the graveyard. So it has to be from field, has to be fire spellcasters. That's already kind of red flaggy. As material whose combined levels equal to or greater than levels of the monsters that ritual summoning. Then you can choose one face at level 6 or lower beast or winged beast monster on your opponent's field and destroy it. This isn't very good. It locks you into having to use fire spellcasters, which means you can't really... You can play cards out of archetype in this deck, but sometimes they're going to brick you, and that's going to be very annoying. And then you can't summon just a CR, use its effect to pop something, and then use it as a ritual summon. That's very annoying. And then popping something specific of a beast or wing beast, also not a big fan. So I need Holy Water to ward off evil spirits. Another one, Ritual Summon. One of the 2 again. Which ones are these? Passion Girl and Anesh. This one was Markama. So that one's Anesh. That one's Markama. And where's the other one? Have we seen the other one yet? Then we'll go and take a look for it in a minute, I guess. Shout out to Thousand Knives to still limit 1. Oh yes, Thousand Knives never get an unhit. Our best techs are Bomber Juggler, which can burn for 1k by binning Ritual, and since they're Hard once per turn. Not a bad idea. Also for Firecaster as well. Lich could work, but not being a Firecaster deck, she can work. Tribute fodder from a Karma or an Esh. Sparkheart's Passion Markma, but the second K is silent. Is it? Am I saying it wrong? I'm probably saying it wrong. Markma. Are you saying it's like Mama? I mean, they're all children. I don't think that's Mama. It's Markma. Blah, 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 blah. Then you can choose one face-up level 6 or lower Fiend or Warrior monster and destroy it. It's so hyper-specific. Level 6 or lower, and then specific types. I don't like either of these. And then a field spell. When this card is face-up in the field zone, face-up fire spellcaster monsters... Oh, we do have ads. Oh, no, we don't have ads yet. Ads will start soon. While this card is face-up in the field zone, face-up fire spellcaster monsters on the field cannot be destroyed by effects, and level 6 or lower fire spell monsters cannot gain 400 attack. So, if we get out this ritual, they gain 13, so they get to 21. And then we can give them an extra 400, so they become 2500s. Very I don't know. I was thinking this deck looked really nice, and then I saw the spell cards, and I no longer feel that excited about this deck, which is a shame. Because I think these monsters are actually pretty good. But I'm just really not feeling the spell cards. The ritual spells especially are very poor, in my opinion. Has to be from the field, has to be fire spellcasters, and the bonus effect you get is really mid. I don't know, man. I'm not feeling them. And then this is also just bad. Like, the only positive about this is it says destroyed by effects, not destroyed by your opponent's effects, which means you could dark hole your own board, and your fire spellcasters will live. That is the one saving grace with this card, in my opinion. That time I reincarnated as a Sparkhearts girl should have been the ritual spell's name. Right, we are in an ad break, so we'll go ahead and rehydrate. I activate. I need holy spirits from my hand. Welcome back from the ads, by the way, everyone. No, I'm just kidding. Konami making adventure, but in rush like that, kind of. Luckily, one of the rituals is level 6. Is one of the rituals level 6? Did I miss that? Level 9, level 9. So where's the level 6 one? Have we seen it yet? Is it one that was revealed before? Have a look. There was that one that we've already seen. I assume it's in here somewhere. That was just art. Probably before. Yeah, I'm trying to... This is just the reprints, right? The Defiant Soul stuff. I want to find it. So I don't remember it, is the issue. Here we go. This is the level 6 one. Okay. Send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Choose one card on your opponent's field and destroy it. Okay, this one's very good, especially for a level 6. If Sparks or Curtain of Sparks in your graveyard inflict 700 damage to your opponent, you can activate the effect of Passion Go for the rest of the turn. I get why we can't use this multiple times. Because it burns. And popping your opponent's board multiple times is already annoying. We've already seen that with things like the Necromade deck. And burning on top of that would potentially mean we could get some very disgusting things happening. But if we could loop this card, it would be really, really good. And that we can't loop it is a little bit sad. Also able to summon both ritual spells. Did you go over the Egyptian waifus? Or did I miss it? We haven't done that yet, actually. We're doing that in a minute. Sparkheart's and Nesh. So this is the level 6 one. If Sparks to the graveyard, you summon this card from your hand, faces your field, that's fine. During the main phases, cards normal special summoned. Send the top 3 cards next to the graveyard, then choose a fire spellcaster among it and enter the hand. This is fine. Just milling 3 is fine. If we get a plus off it, that's fine. Getting this out for free is fine. And it's level 6, so we can use it for ritual material. All of these things are fine. This card is good. Where does that leave us? What does this one do? Shuffle so this is another level 6. So that's very important. Shuffle either 2 fire spellcaster monsters or 4 monsters from your graveyard into the deck. Choose 2 monsters that are either face-up monsters on your field or monsters in your opponent's field. Change the battle positions. There are 10 more cards in the deck. You can choose it to 4. Spark, Cut, Scale, Spark, Cut, and Sparks to your graveyard down to your hand. Okay. Do we have any cards that change them into Spark, Cut, Scale? I don't think we do. We have this. Yeah, we have some of the effects. So we can go over some of them in a minute. My overall impression of this deck is ritual spells are still bad. Field spell, probably bad, but there's some weird shit you can do with it. The monsters are all good. I don't think there is a single, like, bad monster in the pack. I think all of these cards are, like, good enough. Saying that, this one actually could be the mama. You know, this one. This could be the mama. Just saying. This deck is fire real. Alright, so 2 generic cards appear. So we have these ones now. Feeling Cute might rain later. So level 7, 2400, 1200. Lana, the Holy Wind of Healing. So level 7, Wind Psychic. Okay. So these are just going to go into the Rovian Bandit deck, I guess. You can special summon this card from your hand in face-up defense position by sending another card from your hand to the graveyard. Okay. I mean, we could use this with Royal Rebel, right? Theoretically. I'm not sure if we should, but we could. During the main phase of the turn this card was normal or special summoned, send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. So we're losing 2 cards from our hand if we're summoning this and then using the effect. Return a spell trap on your opponent's field to the owner's hand, then you can change this card's battle position. So we lose 3 cards in our hand, effectively. But we get a 2400 beater. We bounce one of our opponent's back row, which bouncing is very annoying, by the way, because that means they draw 1 less card for turn, which sometimes can be extremely frustrating. I think this is fine. The only problem is, I don't know what deck is going to have room for it. Most decks, their high-level monster slots are quite tight, so I'm not sure if we could fit this in much. Wind Psychic, where have I seen that before? Yeah, Shaman Bandits and Handy Lady. Oh, Handy Lady's a good shout, actually. It's not a good card. I actually think this is not bad. So, any level 7 monster, you want to be summoning with only 1 tribute. And effectively, we're discarding a card from our hand, which is the tribute, right? So we are getting this out at a discount. Its attack points are a little bit low. That's not ideal. And we have to discard a card to use its effect, also not ideal. But the effect to bounce a spell trap is actually really, really good. Like, it is genuinely really, really good. The issue, again, comes down to card economy and what deck is going to want this. Like, what strategy are we just going to have the need for this, I guess? Maybe, like we say, Handy Lady? Maybe? Right, let's take a look at the next one. Oh, this is an aesthetic. This is just, this is an Animagica card, guys. This is just Animagica. So, level 3, Light Beast. It's a Light Beast as well, bro. So these aren't even from the same deck. These are just 2 different cards. During the turn this card was normal summoned, if there is 1 or less cards in your spell and trap zone, choose 1 non-legend normal spell card in your graveyard, set it to your spell trap zone. For the rest of this turn, you can activate that card or this card. So it's very slow. It's very, very slow. Does this matter at all? Most of the time, decks have lots of ways to pop your back row, and they'll see exactly where you put the new card. So if they want it gone, a lot of the time they should be able to get rid of it. I don't know. I don't know. What was this one? Oh, is this also from that archetype? Oh, yeah, it's purify. It's pure breeds. Okay, so is the archetype pure breed? Yeah, purifying pure breed. Oh, no, it's frost purifying pure breed is the archetype. That is such a mouthful. So this is the other card we have for this deck already. During the turn this card is normal summon. Choose one non-legend normal trap card in your graveyard. Add it to your hand. After this effect is activated, you cannot set normal spells from your hand until the end of the turn. Another weird card. This is okay because it gets us discard fodder, if we want discard fodder. Holy Wind of Healing doesn't heal, just costs. This effect means that you can't use the card recycled, not on the same turn. Damn Konami want Hikari to keep winning EDO weekly. It's a good card to just bait the opponent into popping, for example, set Jest. I mean, yeah. Can set 2 other traps, and they can be safe. Well, this one can't, because we can't set cards. So it's a little bit awkward. So this is this a horse? This is a horsewoman, I guess. I do not have enough information to make a big judgment call on these cards. I would say my first impression is these cards don't look like they're anything special at the moment. The Frost Purifying Pure Breed archetype. And again, when we see the bosses, opinion might change. At the moment, very mid. Very mid is what I'm feeling. What they might do is have a bunch of cards that require discarding or sending cards from the field to the graveyard. So the logic is, you're not getting back a spell card to use it. You're getting back a spell card to send it to the graveyard for a cost. In that case, I could see these being pretty good. These aren't the Egyptian waifus. Who were the Egyptian waifus? They're the Beast Warriors, right? If we go back over to here. Was these ones. So it's this one, this one, this one, this one. Yeah, so they're the Monumenthus. Moonforce looks like it's going to be a really interesting one as well. I am actually quite interested to see what the Moonforce effects are. I love all the little cute decks. Like the little cute animal decks, I always love these decks. You can die in a fire, you. Get out of here. This is my boss monster now. Like, this is clearly the boss, right? The question is, what kind of boss is this going to be? Is this going to be a ritual? Is this a fusion? Is this main deck monster? Who knows? Obviously, this is a boss. This might be a boss. And this is probably a boss, right? Like, we've even got the Millennium Scales. What is going on here? Is this like a helmet? Or is this just like a back thing? The theme in the box after next look fantastic. I think they all look pretty cool. It's funny that the JP is just Sojuba and the EN is a paragraph. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Man, I'm waiting for the day Konami Prince reverse trap for Rush. Nah, it's never coming. Alright, let's jump in and do a little bit of deck building. Because I do want to take a look at some of this stuff. So first things first, we'll make some room. So, I was thinking about some of these cards, right? So 3 Secret Order. That comes in immediately. The deck I was thinking about building was some sort of machine deck, right? Because now we can play a lot of these cards without having to worry about like conflicts, right? So what could we do with it? Obviously we'd want this. This would be the Secret Order target. I don't know if this is worth playing, is the fundamental issue. Obviously you'd play this. Then it's like, are we bothering to play this as well? This would probably be in the deck. I don't think we're playing Ace Breaker, right? We'd have to have so much plussing to make Ace Breaker worth. Then the question becomes, are we playing Gold Rush? Like, Gold Rush lets you turbo out Tough Striker, but I think you really need the Mirror Innovator, so I don't think you'd even play that. At which point, is there even a point in playing this combo? Because, like, what does having Tough Striker get us? Realistically. Like, nothing? I think it just gives us nothing. Like, we're playing this just for the sake of having a 2500 attack guy. Well, it would be a 32 with protection. Maybe Sidrus. I think I think Serpent is fine. But again, I don't know if there's a reason to play these. We could definitely play Mechlord Mirror Innovator in a deck with this stuff, but I don't know if there's a reason to play these two together. I want there to be, but I think if you're not playing Gold Rush, I don't think there's a reason. And I don't think Gold Rush is worth the spot. And there's no way we're not playing Innovator. So I think this would probably just come out, at which point we're just looking at this. And this is a deck we could build right now, so there's no real point in, like, looking at it too in-depth. I really wanted there to be something we could do with Secret Order, but again, if there's no reason to, there's no reason to. Let's take a look at the other cards we could have. So we could play the Gradius cards, for sure. You lock us, so maybe not you. We could do this. And then it's like, do we play the vanilla? Maybe. We could just turbo mill these cards and then try and get back with this. At what point, though, is there too much stuff in here, I guess, becomes the next question. I mean, why Joypeg and Music Princess was not hit enough for meta to change? I think that the meta will change a little bit. I think we're going to start seeing more heroes. I think Gradius actually kind of caught strays from the changes, which is a little bit of a shame. I mean, we could put, like, some of this in, I guess. Well, saying that, we'll probably not include them at all. We would definitely include these. So then the question becomes, like, do we just play this with the Gradius skill? The issue is, playing the Gradius skill is very awkward. Because the Gradius skill means we have to play 15 or more machine monsters with 800 defense. And that becomes a bit problematic. I mean, I suppose we're almost there, right? 8, 8, 8, 8. I don't know if we're playing Gradius in this deck. Let's take a look. Some people posted some lists in the chat. Let's see what they were cooking up with theirs. Where was... We'll grab the Luis Fernando deck. We'll take a look at it quick. So there's no skill here, so I don't know what skill he was using with this. He is playing the vanilla Gradius. It looks like this is the Cyber Dragon skill. Okay. So if we do that, we can't play Mirror Innovator, which is a shame, because I would like to play Mirror Innovator. Trying to think if there's anything else that I'd want to put in this deck. Right now, we're kind of locking ourselves into machines. I don't even think there's any other good skill we could play in this deck. Like, Ultimate Bond was like the OG skill. But, like, we're not playing this realistically, are we? This doesn't even plus us. It's like, it's so old. Don't Machine have a count as 2 level for tribute? It does. Bicorn. I just don't know if it's very good in this current meta, right? IGRF showed us a well-balanced meta. Maybe they didn't want to mess with it too much. I mean, yeah, that's fine. No Innovator, Avaricious Destiny Draw. The issue with Avaricious is it creates an issue with Innovator itself. Because we don't have a lot of ways to mill in this deck. Which means we're going to have just, like, a conflict of interest, right? Although I think Avaricious Destiny Draw is actually a thingy skill. I don't think we can use it on this character. Oh, no, we do. We have it on this character. Like, getting the pot of greed is nice. Getting the extra plus is nice. But it might conflict a bit too much is the issue. I really want to play Innovator, because Innovator is just really good. But we don't need Innovator, I guess. So the way to play this would probably be this. Then we'd want some of these. I mean, this doesn't look too bad as is, to be honest. This isn't going to be, like, crazy. But, like, this could definitely be a deck, right? This could definitely be a deck. Let's take a look. What else would we want in here? Legend Spell is probably just this. We would want... probably Back Row Hate, considering the type of deck this is. I don't think we play Overrush, realistically. We're probably playing Curse. Although we don't have a way to force Curse. But I think you'd still play Curse anyway, because it's just that good. So if we go... what is it? Is it Iron Onslaught or... no, it's the Steel one. I always get confused between the original Japanese name and the new Japanese name. Or the new English name. For Trap... I mean, it's probably just Trap Hole, right? I mean, this is the all-gas version. Right, what's the negatives of this deck? We don't have great ways to beat set 3 because we're not playing Lord British. So we just have to basically... and we don't have the other guy as well. So we have to rely on Cyber Twin to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Gradius Cyber Drake. We're just cooking right now. We're in the kitchen. We're just throwing some ingredients together. We're seeing if anything comes. I don't think this looks very good. And again, the main reason is you need Ripple Laser to do a lot of heavy lifting if we're going to clear a big board. We don't beat set 3 without exactly Cyber Twin. Those are my biggest issues the deck has right now. Like, we're so reliant on Curse and Cyber Twin, but I just don't know if it's enough. It might be enough. It might be enough. It might be enough. But either way, it's going to be a rough one. Right, we'll save this for now. We'll come back to this. Right, let's go and take a look at Light Galaxy. Let's see if we can do anything with Light Galaxy. This was our old Chaos Galaxy list. We'll come back to this one afterwards, I think. Right, we'll get rid of this one. We don't need this. Right, filter, light. Galaxy. Alright. You're good. You're good. You're coming in. You're coming in as well. You're definitely in. Are you in? Maybe you're in. Right, what skill are we playing? Because we could also, if we're going to try and build this like silly OTK deck, we could use... not this one. Which one is it? That's just the Universal Storm one. Is it Rising? This adds Zyphos. Can be activated on a turn that you normal summon level 4 monster. If your constructed deck contains at most one equipped spell card and all of the monsters are light attribute Galaxy type monsters, send one of the normal monster or Galacteria or Zyphos from your deck to the graveyard. Then, if you have normal summoned a monster with 1500 or 2500 defense this turn, add it to your hand instead, and the monster with 1500 defense inflict piercing battle damage. Alright, we need to, I need to like take it. I need to process this, right? So we send a normal or an or the equip spell from your deck to the graveyard. If we've normal summoned a 15 or a 2500 defense this turn, we can add it to our hand instead. And monsters with 1500 defense inflict piercing damage this turn. So, or is if you have 3 or more Galaxy monsters in your graveyard with the main phase, you normal summon this card, add Zyphos from your graveyard to your hand. So that does give us a plus. The alternative is instead of that... is it this one? Yeah, so we get to set a Meteor Charge or Galactica Force from your deck or graveyard to your spell and trap zone. I think this is probably better because I don't know what 1500 defense monsters we'd be using. Where are you? Defense. Right. Let's filter this quick. So it's literally these two, which are two cards we just don't want to play. I don't think we're playing Heliacal Riser, realistically. Where's Fusion? Fusion wasn't in the deck. Don't worry about that. We only need the one. You might need to revisit that Sidra Gradius list. I mean, we literally were like, I don't think this is very good, we're moving on. So, like, we're kind of done with it, I think. Tomato's going to create Cyber Dragon Contact Fusion. Again, the logic was, we didn't think it was very good, so we were going to shelve it and go on to something else. What about the Secret Order skill? Wouldn't that be best if we want to get Oblivion out? So the problem with that is this deck is effectively going to be like an OTK deck, right? And getting to Oblivion shouldn't be that bad. The only issue with this is we have to normal summon Oblivion. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to work regardless. The other one doesn't give Piercing. I want a skill, ideally, that gives us Piercing. But that's not going to happen, I think, realistically. So the other one is Galactica Order. Although this does actually get us to charge. Turn 2 onward, if all the monsters do 1400 more attacking the Light Galaxy, so one level 7 Light Galaxy normal monster from your hand to the graveyard. That is the downside. You can only add Meteor Charge once per duel, but you can grab Secret Order as many times as you want. Maybe this is fine. Because it does get... I forgot it adds Meteor Charge. Although, again, Meteor Charge only once per duel. Then it comes down to like, are we actually going to use that? Alright. Light Gala. Are we going to play the fusion stuff is the next question as well. Because this is effectively... Or at least this can just play as an OTK deck. Because like this could be fine if we're planning to stack our deck with Zyphos. We're going to need you. We want normal monsters because that's how we're going to try and end the game. I think at what point are we trying to do too many things? We might have to cut out the fusion stuff just altogether. If we're trying to build this as just like an OTK deck. Alright, we'll come back to that. Almost certainly including you. We almost certainly need these. Is there anything else here specifically that we need? I don't think we can fit you. Alright. Galactica. So in an ideal world, we want these. But that's already so many spell traps. I think we're probably cutting out the fusion stuff. So the question comes, are we keeping Plora in? Plora, I don't think is worth using, although it can get back the boss monster. I think we probably just cut it. Eve is probably not worth using in this version as well. The rest of this might be worth using. Galactica Order feels like a long time since I heard that skill name. Yeah. I mean, again, the whole point here is we're trying to build like effectively like a silly OTK deck. The downside is we're going to want tribute fodder. So what we might do is include... Has to be light, right? I think it has to be light. Light galaxy type monsters, yeah. So it would have to be him. So now we have 5 targets for the skill. We have a way to get this skill target back to our hand through Climb. We don't really have good millers for ore. Is like the biggest issue I'm seeing here. Cosmotitan for skill. I mean, you're already ahead of me, right? You're already ahead of me. Order feels like, yeah. I don't know. Is this it? Is this... Obviously, we don't have a legend trap in here. Right now, this is just trying to beat all gas. So the logic is we have to just naturally find one of our level 7s, activate the effect, discard. Oh, we don't have charge here at the moment. Strange Traveler for the mill. So the downside with Strange Traveler is we need to have a critical mass of normal monsters for Galactica Force. And for Zyphos, right? So we need a critical mass, so we can't have too many non-normal monsters. So then it comes like, do we get rid of ore? I mean, maybe we get rid of ore. Because right now we have no milling whatsoever. Leo for milk. The issue with Traleo is it won't send spells to the graveyard. So it won't send Zyphos, which is what we want in the bin to get back with ore. We can put these in the graveyard, which is fine, but we want these in our hand. So getting the bosses into grave is only really useful if we already know we have Klein. So what we might do is get rid of ore and put in Traveler, because Traveler's unconditional, right? Traveler doesn't give a crap. Not you, FRI. Traveler's just mill. Straight up. And reduce attack by 500 can be helpful to get an OTK push as well. Because like I say, Traleo is good. It's really good at getting monsters in the bin. And what we're trying to do is get Zyphos in the bin. And again, the reason to get Zyphos in the bin was for ore. Traveler needs a normal on the board? Yeah, but that shouldn't be difficult, right? We're playing tons of normals. I was thinking about this skill on Handy Lady with Hero Engine. This skill. You'd play Galactica Aura with Handy Lady? Oh, or Handy Lady. Right, I misread that. Or Handy Lady with Hero Engine. Hero Engine. Gives you all the draw power you'd need. Try and find every card we need. What's the downside of the Hero Engine? We'd have to play a lot more spells. Outside of that, maybe Hero Engine would be better. Let's take a look at what Hero Engine would look like. So you would definitely be in. Oh, actually, you can't be in, can you? 1400 or more attack. So you're the only one that can't be in. I guess you, and you is the most we can get. Because we want normals as well. The issue here is we are now solely reliant on the piercing. Because if we get a load of, like, non-galaxy monsters, they're going to be in a bit of a weird spot. You could use the Hero Engine with the skill. Yeah. Handy Lady Oblivion does exist. So just a matter of fitting more vanilla OTK stuff. Yeah. Alright, let's get Circ up. So what would have to come out? Probably just getting rid of a lot of the galaxy stuff, ironically, which is really weird. We probably want to try and keep Klein. We could probably get rid of some of these as well. Like 6 is probably enough for 3 copies of Circ. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. So right now, the way this deck is built with Circ is it's Oblivion Turbo, right? The whole strategy is we get out Oblivion, we give it ideally Piercing, and then we just slap a load of spells and hope we win. The downside with Zyphos as well is it's going to be kind of awkward because your opponent has to have a level 7 or 8. We also don't have anything like Curse in here at the moment. Force is cool, but awkward to use reliably. Yeah. Well, the whole point is we need to OTK somehow, right? Now, sometimes Zyphos won't even be online, and that's going to be the really awkward part of this deck. Because if our opponent just, like, sets 3 every turn, then our strategy is effectively, what? Oblivion, Leica, Galactica Force, hit. Because there's more cards I would like to put in here. But I just don't know if there is going to be room overall. Like, we could put Meteor Charge in to give us, like, an extra piercing option. And it also allows us to flip one of our opponent's cards up. But flipping one of their low levels still doesn't allow this to be equipped. So it has to be a 7-8. It has to be 7-8. Force needs Galaxy and Graveyard to work, so Hero Engine is not really useful. I still think, though, you would probably get more Galaxy monsters in the graveyard easier with this version of the deck than the other one. Like, we don't have that many Galaxy, but we should be able to see them a lot easier because we have Elemental Circulation. So the logic is, instead of discarding the heroes, we keep the heroes in our hand, and then we start discarding the Galaxy monsters with Circ. This lets us dig through, find the spell cards to get our combo going. That's the logic. Whether or not it actually works out is a whole other question. The problem with Zyphos is if the opponent only/mostly plays level 9 fusions. Exactly. I mean, that's why this card is kind of bad to begin with, right? That's why the meme was it's level... Yeah, it's why is it limit 3? I mean, again, nobody is saying this deck is going to be like a good deck or like a competitive deck. We're just trying to see what we can do with the new changes, right? And this is something we could do with the change. It's still kind of bad, but like... You know, in this meta as well, a lot of the time your opponent will leave a level 7 or 8 monster on the board. They won't always, right? If they're playing Music Princess, they can quite easily not do that. But occasionally. Right, we'll leave this like this for now. Again, we can come back to this, which is fine. Now I want to take a look at Gaia. Do we have like an old Gaia deck? There's nothing great. Right, what is this, the new skill? Because everyone just stopped playing this when the skill got changed. Send one level 5 or 7 normal monster from your deck to the graveyard. Make one face at level 5 or 7 monster on your field, gain 300 attack to the end of this turn. Then you can add a normal monster and a polymerization from your graveyard to your hand, but only once per duel. Okay. So every turn we can just keep sending level 5 and level 7 normals to the bin. We can use monster calling as well. What was the other restriction here? 1600 more attack in your construct deck and extra deck are monsters with 23 or 2600 attack. So we can't use these. Is a big part of that. Okay. Well, we did have a different list somewhere that was using the... Oh, not that one. That was using the Gaia skill somewhere. Where was it? Where was it? It'll be in here somewhere. I don't remember who I was playing it with. Not that one. I cannot see it. Maybe we deleted it. Maybe we deleted it. Oh, this one. This was the list. Oh, this was double elemental double extraction we were playing this with. Because the logic was we want to send the Gaias to the bin, then we can bring them back with cooling and bring them back with secret order. I mean, is there much difference? I suppose the other skill means that we can send one every turn instead of twice, but only, or two, but only the once, right? Alright, where's the Gaia skill at? All the monsters with 1600 or more attack in your deck, in your constructed deck and extra deck are monsters with 2300. So anything that has 16 or more. So unfortunately Shock Dragon is excluded there, so we can't really play Shock Dragon in this version of the deck, which is a bit of a shame. Can we do anything? Is there anything we can do with Gaia? Is there anything interesting we can do with Gaia at all? Because I think using the Gaia skill, like, what does the deck do? Like, effectively, the only thing that's changed is we can now play Secret Order alongside Battle Tested. But is that even relevant? Because again, we can play one Gaia the Fierce Knight. But like, and we can guarantee this is always going to be in the graveyard, so Secret Order should always be live. But like, is that worth it? And like, this is still not going to do anything, right? Because our bosses are okay. But now that we only give 300 attack, our bosses cap out at 29. So I still don't think it's going to be very good. The other option we have is this. But again, there's no reason to put Vanilla Gaia in here, right? There's no reason to put Vanilla Gaia in here at all. Alright. What else is there we can cook with this? Is there anything else worth cooking with? I guess Chaos Galaxy? We can see what a Chaos Galaxy deck looks like. Okay. So this was our OG Chaos Galaxy deck. And this deck's pretty good. The question becomes, what changes? I mean, this list can stay exactly the same, except this has to go. No, not that. Probably this. So, like, this is a usable deck. I'm not sure if it's very good, but it's a usable deck. So we can easily make Fuse Eve. We can easily make Extra Plasma. We can relatively easily make Apo. My time has come. We probably... I mean... Is there any... I don't know. It's a tricky one. So we're almost certainly still using this skill. Almost certainly. We have to discard Light, Attribute, and Fusion, which is fine. We're still playing plenty of that, so that's all live. We can create... I mean, this is probably fine. Is there anything in here that needs to change? Is the question. We could maybe get rid of the Legend Trap and go full gas. Maybe put in a second corridor. I don't think that's necessarily required, though. It looks good enough. Could play Klein. Yeah. I don't hate Klein in this deck. Because it turns the skill on as well. The question is, what do we take out? That's always the big thing. Because we need the lavas, right? Because we need this to just mill. And then we'll tribute it off afterwards. We don't have a ton of piercing, because we only have the 2 Leica, but it shouldn't matter too much, because we've got the Dark Hole device. Do we need 3 fusion? So 3 fusion is good, because it allows you to be discarded with the skill. So if you draw extra fusions, you just send them to the graveyard. And you want to mill them, because extra Plora is obviously, you know, really important. You can mill them off of this, get them back to your hand. You want fusion in the graveyard because of Dark Prophet as well. I think 3 fusion is probably mandatory. So the flexibility of this deck, the reason to play this deck is we can do a lot of different things. We can just Dark Hole device and murder our opponent with an Apocalypse play, right? If we go Apocalypse into Secret Order to bring back Galactic Oblivion, that's just lethal. The downside is Apocalypse can still get hit with Shady. And he is probably going to be the primary Shady target. Again, we have Eternal Galactic Oblivion as like a backup plan as well, but again, just it kind of dies to Shady. And we don't really have a ton of room to play a load of back row hate. The only back row hate we really have is Extra Plasma. And he's a good card. But it puts you in a bit of a weird situation because your opponent's just going to watch you spin down into Plasma and then, like we say, Shady it. And then after you've done that, how many resources are you going to have left to do a big OTK push with either Apocalypse or with Oblivion? Because the reason this deck performed so well originally was because you didn't have to care about back row hate. Because it was like, does your opponent have the one-off to stop us? Whereas now we have to care about back row hate. It's a little bit awkward. Curse could help you extend past Shady. Now that, I think, is a very good suggestion. Do we need Corridor? I kind of feel like we do need Corridor. Because Corridor is really good for getting the profit back. But it's only a one-of. So we could just get rid of it. I'm also wondering if we need the Lycas. I think we probably do. Corridor is okay. Yeah, I like Corridor, because Corridor gets back profit. And that's like the big one. Because Corridor into profit, into fusion, and then all you need is the Pale Rider and you're good to go. It's like, that's such a good little combo. Play 40 cards? I would rather not. Now we do need Leica when device is clearing. Do we need Leica when device is clearing monsters? So the logic is, if we don't get to the Darkhold device play, we have a backup strategy in Oblivion Leica. But if Curse is online, that doesn't matter, right? Because we could just flip something up and attack over it. So as long as Curse is online, we don't need Leica. But it's like, is Curse going to be online, right? The issue now is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Only 14 normal summons is a little bit spooky. It's not like the end of the world, because again, our skill is going to send a lot of this to the grave and draw more. But we do have to have enough normal summons to make plays. Maybe we do just get rid of Corridor and just get another normal. But I could see this being the line. Because that way, half the deck is normal summons, so we shouldn't be bricking on non-normal summons. We should be able to, like, set 3 at the very least. We have Curse, which is ready for when our opponent, like, hits us with something annoying. But chances are we have to go into Plasma to make the play work. This seems chaotic and fun. And has Yaoi, so automatically tier 0. I think this has potential, for sure. I wish there was something we could do after we got shadied, right? Cursing after you get shadied is nice because it's a pot of greed. But you want, like... Ideally, we'd have, like, a trombone, right? Or trombo, which lets us flip our guys back up after we've been shadied. And then we just don't care about being shadied. Or we have a way to, like, play through it very easily. This is just curse and hope that we draw into something useful. Which can work, right? If we, for example, just draw into, like, profit, then we could just win off of that. It's a tricky one. It's definitely a tricky one. Definitely a tricky one. I think, realistically, we're going to have to test this. We're going to have to just jump into the deep end. See what works and what doesn't. The downside is we can't test this on ladder. So we're going to have to test this in, like, a tournament setting, most likely. Or, like, in a duel room or something. Yeah, Curse is okay, but doesn't guarantee the right draws exactly. Yeah. It's still nice, because flipping stuff up is also just really good. I also don't know what we'd throw in as the extra fusion. Who are we more likely to make out of all of this? Probably Plasma? Well, I don't think we need an extra Plasma. Eve is quite easy to get out. Has to be light attribute fusion, which means it's probably just going to be these two. I could draw into Plora, use Apocalypse as tribute fodder. Yeah, you're not wrong. Go into the Apo, tribute out into Plora. Plora goes into Plasma, or just their back row's gone, so we then just go into an Oblivion play. Flip with Curse of the Rising Light. I mean, that could just work. I think for now, we'll just put this in as just 2. I think I want to try this out. If there is a Quantum today, I will probably try this in Quantum. But we'll see. We'll see what goes on. Alright, what was the other? Dark Galaxy? Dark Galaxy is the other, like, big one? Not that. That is the skillless Dark Galaxy. Sword. Do we not have just an OG Dark Galaxy list anymore? We've gotten rid of it. Alright. Dark. Galaxy. We need at least one of you. You're really good. You're really good. You're also really good. Which one do we need the least? Probably one of each of those. I mean, do we even need Gigantomachia? Maybe. You're in, you're in, you're in, you're in. Are you in? You're in. You are in. You are in. I mean, that already looks quite okay. Let's have a look. Let's just search Galaxy, see if that brings up the stuff I want. Probably want you. Probably want you in some number. We definitely need you. We're going to need the fusion spell card. That's quite important. Although I don't like that fusion. I like this fusion better. Giganto fraud. Feels bad. I like playing Polly in this deck for the Gigantomachia cheese. I think it can be cool, but the issue is Gigantomachia is the biggest trap magnet of all time. And you use a lot of resources to hit it. Which is the only reason I'm not a big fan. Because obviously you want to use it to hit your opponent's back row, but like they'll just use their back row on him, right? That's the awkward part. We want you for sure. Probably don't need 3 corridor, realistically. Do we need more than 1 corridor? We might only need 1 corridor. I like playing Poly limit 1. It helped with set 3 though. It can. But I don't think this deck worries about set 3. We've got Chrysaor, who can just deal with set 3 on his own. And we've got Apocalypse into Darkhold Device. So set 3 shouldn't, famous last words, be too much of an issue. Is there anything obvious that we've missed? Or anything that needs to come out? I really want to put more Corridor in. Corridor is a really weird card, because sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's really not. Fusion Dark Galaxy back on the menu. Oh boy. Well, now that we have the potential to go for the Darkhold Device play, I think it is. Because before it was like, oh, do you just get lucky enough to find your one of Darkhold Device? Corridor Cataphract, Recover Boss sounds good. Maybe 2 at least. The issue is, at what point do we have too many spell traps? Because think about it like this as well. The more spell traps we have, the worse chance Chrysaor goes off and gets 2 or 3, right? And don't forget, Chrysaor is one of the big plays of this deck, because our line is end on Protostar, Theogonia, Chrysaor, or make Apocalypse, wipe the board, right? Those are our 2 lines this deck does. I'd rather 2 Universe Storm / Curse and 2 Corridor, but it's cool. I mean, we could take, like, 1 out. That's fine. The issue with Curse is going to be... Again, we don't do a ton after we get hit with a trap. So my ideal is we don't get hit with a trap, right? Is that Mr. Tomato Shimming? Hello, Sakadetsu. Welcome on in. I'm trying to... The issue again is spell trap space. It's spell trap space is the issue. Hope you and chat have a great day. Cut 1 Lava. Lava is the cuttable card. Out of everything here, Lava is the most cuttable. But it's also really good. Really good. And again, ideally we want to cut the number of spell traps down, because we want to be hitting at least 2 monsters with Chrysaor. That is the objective. Keep it to 31. There's no way we keep it to 31. I'm also debating still whether or not we go Universe Storm or if we go Curse. Because Curse is really good. Like, it's really good. But we have no way to force it. Like, the only way to force Curse in this deck is going to be either Apo, which after we've been hit with, like, a Shady, for example, on the Apo, like, what are we doing? We're drawing 2 and then... I don't know. Like, the best case scenario is that we find another Prophet and we try and make it again, right? If we get our Theogonia hit by a trap card as well, that's really bad. Like, if Theogonia specifically gets hit, That is really, really bad. I'm cutting Curse from high-tech dragons. We can now play Pot. Yeah, I mean, Pot of Greed is obviously fantastic. It's going to be tricky. It's definitely going to be tricky. Like, maybe we cut that. Maybe we just cut that and call it a day. We're now down to what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 normals again. There's just so many good spell traps that I want to include. I think no traps is the way to go with this deck, though. And with Chaos Galaxy as well. I think trap cards, for the most part, are not going to do us much good. Especially since some traps are good against some decks and bad into others. To be honest, this deck looks ass with Shady in the game. Well, that's what we're talking about, right? That's why we're talking about Storm and everything. Trapless returns. I forgot Pot of Greed is limit 1. I mean, that's fine, because this is now limit 2. So it's fine. It's fine. We don't need any other limit 1s. I'm just trying to think if there is anything else we could change. Again, the fundamental issue I keep coming back to is if we get hit with a Shady, what do we do after that? So again, the strat is don't get hit with Shady. But that's all well and good to say, and a whole other thing when it gets put into practice, right? The deck kind of requires decks to play Shady / Compulse at least. Yes. They will get punished if they're not on trap cards. Maybe Storm to Curse is the way. Storm to Curse. Oh, you mean swap over to Curse? I mean, potentially. But, like... So, Curse is really good. If we go second, it's amazing. It's just flat out incredible. And we open it, obviously. It's also pretty good because it flips that guys up, so we can just get extra damage in with our big bodies. And it will let us draw 2 after we've already been hit by the trap card. No, I think I'm leaning towards Curse over it. Again, I keep coming back to... We need to do something after the trap card goes off, and I think Curse is that something. But, like, it's so awkward. Just don't get Shadied. Well, that's the ideal, but it's easier said than done. Obviously, we're going to need a skill as well. That would be quite helpful. We have the issue as well that our skill is still kind of mid. I mean, we have 2 Dark Hole Device now, so the skill's gotten a little bit better. Imagine if they Requiem and Chrysaor with just 1 tribute. Oh, suddenly. Getting out this for 1 tribute would actually be disgusting. I mean, we can do that already. We have Globule. We have the technology. Tomato found his something. Otis would be proud. A weird time for Dark Galaxy Fusion. Yeah, it's definitely awkward. Part of me is like, maybe we do this. But I really like Double Corridor. Double Corridor is so good. But I always want to make sure I have a Curse to go on turn 2. I think this is the build I would test first. I don't think this is necessarily the best version of this. I think this is the build I would test first. There are 2 types of Dark Galaxy players. One is actual Rush player that plays the Fusion Monsters. The other is the Rush to Hater that plays Tiffing. Good old Tiffing! It's the same thing with Red Boot, but Dark Galaxy don't die for just 1 Shady. Yeah. I mean, that's fundamentally what it comes down to, right? Like, this can be an OTK deck, but also it doesn't have to be an OTK deck. That's the other thing. Like, we do just have some good lines we can do. Like, if we do go Proto, Theogonia, Chrysaor. Thank you for the follow, Hamdas TV. Welcome, welcome. We can still get, like, double attack Chrysaor. With a deck built like this, I think it's more likely to be a double attack than a triple attack. Thank you for the follow, Jetstrong. Welcome, welcome again. But 2 attacks of this is still good. Attack, attack. then what? We get like direct attacks on Theogonia and Chrysaor, leaving our opponent on 500. Like, if we could guarantee get triple mill off of Chrysaor, that'd be fantastic. I just don't know how likely that is to happen. Don't worry about it. We need 3 Requiem. So the reason to play Requiem, one is just big attack good, especially if we're playing something like Curse, and it's material for this. So if you send Voidveil Requiem to the graveyard with the effect, you can also send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So we want to be milling, right? The whole point of the strategy is get Darkhold Device into the graveyard. If we can use our skill to get Darkhold Device into the graveyard, fantastic, because then we can bring it back using Apocalypse, etc., 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 right? That's the logic. Now, whether or not the logic is sound, that is potentially up for debate. But that is what we have for now. That is what we're going with currently. Play 3 just for mill? I don't know. Well, you got to remember, right? We need targets for the skill. We want to send up to 2 cards, level 8 Dark Attribute monsters, and Darkhold Device and or Fusion. So now we're currently playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 ways to trigger the mill, right? Well, I suppose we're also playing the Chrysaor, so those work as well. So that's now 11 ways. And then we can get the additional mill of 3 cards if we send the Requiem. So think about it like this. This isn't a Requiem. This is sometimes a Requiem. But most of the time, this isn't a Requiem. Most of the time, this is discard draw 2, right? Or discard draw 1. So it's like an upstart goblin. I know that Requiem is so bad. I don't think Requiem's as bad as you're making it out to be, right? You can summon it for 1 tribute off of Globule. It mills you, which is, again, good. And its attack goes up to 4,000. Like, you can use it to clear over a threat. It's still a useful card. I don't know why you think it's, like, utter dogshit. Like, Luis Fernando's looking at this like it's a fucking, like, 0 attack, 0 defense, non-effect monster. I'm like, bruh, it's okay. It's not awful. Don't forget, the guys that won Worlds, first and second place of Worlds, were both playing Requiem. Like, the card is fine. It's like Oblivion in, like, Galaxy. I love Requiem. There we go. We've done it. We've converted Luis Fernando. 2,500 vanilla, but you get a free order on both. Louise looks at Requiem the same way he looks at baseball. It's one of my favorite cards. Yeah. Right, we'll wait for the ads. Ad. We'll just wait for the ads to disappear, and then we'll try and troll Louise. 3, 2, 1. And that's why Voidveil Requiem is actually really, really bad. But, now with all of that said, I think this build looks okay. I think this looks okay, realistically. I think that we have a lot of tools to do some interesting plays with. Oh, did we have ads? Oh, man. That's wild. But yeah, I think this deck has potential. Because don't forget, you need to turbo mill with this deck, right? In order to use Globule, we need to shuffle cards back. In order to use Prophet, we need to shuffle cards back. We want Fusion in the graveyard. We want Darkhold Device in the graveyard. That's just how the deck functions, right? I don't think it helps that much in the deck, but if we had the Fusion Contact, it would be better. Well, if we had the Fusion Contact, of course it'd be better. I forgot we have Greed again. Oh yeah, we back. We back. Big IQ discussion we just had. I know, it's crazy. Greed plus Curse is neat. Yeah, like, if we just go second, this has so much potential. If we go second and our opponent doesn't open up a trap card, we can just murder them in 1 turn. Like, we have the capability to do that, which is kind of wild. But yeah, I think this is going to be it for now. Requiem plus 1600 attack will be Hornison, the Contact Fusion. I mean, yeah, it would be. It's a weird one. I personally think we could get that. We could just get the Contact Fusion at any point. I don't think it's like a huge anime boss in the same way I don't think Concurrent was a huge anime boss. So I think they could do it. How about make Dark Galaxy become Trap Deck? Use the skill dig for traps, threaten opponents' monsters with Chrysaor and Requiem. After beating all the traps, then wipe out fusion play. So you could do that. The issue is, you still need to keep the fusion. You probably still need to keep the Dark Hole device, because you can discard this for the skill, and you still want to have the fusion plays. So all you would take out is you would take out the curses, maybe you take out the Void Corridor, and then just replace them with like 4 traps, which is like fine. That deck can work. It just comes down to like how you're trying to have the deck function, right? I'll test this with 2 Curse and Corridor, but it's nice. Yeah, I mean, it's worth testing it regardless, right? I think. I am quite happy with how this has turned out. But I did say we were going to do a bit of a shorter stream today. And we are going to do a bit of a short stream today. So, thank you guys for watching. The plan is, because we haven't got anything like new, Sunday, assuming I could stream on Sunday, is probably going to be back to Digimon. And now I know some of you are going to be like, oh, Digimon, I don't care about that. And some of you are going to be like, oh my god, Digimon, I love that game. And, you know, those people are the ones that I like the most. Because I like the Digimon game, I'm enjoying it. It's been 2 weeks since we played it as well. But that is the plan. We will be doing Digimon on Sunday. I don't know if the Quantum tournament has... There's still no post about the Quantum Rush, so I don't know if it's happening. If there is a Quantum Rush happening, y'all should sign up to it. But it's not been posted yet, so, you know, it is what it is. But, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!